Armchair Quarterbacks 1, home of Braves Country Baseball and the Armchair Quarterbacks 1.
You're listening to the Armchair Quarterbacks. Please like and subscribe today. YouTube.com/@Braves Country.
I have said enough for a lifetime. And for the last time, I wish you all a very pleasant good afternoon.
CBS Sports Radio.
I'm 7-0 this season.
You auto-drafted.
That's what all the great GMs do. They delegate.
You didn't do anything.
Yeah, I did. I set the cue.
Without fantasy football, what would friends talk about?
I almost wore shorts today.
Oh.
I was going to do a sweatshirt shorts combo. Switched to pants instead.
Armchair.
Hey, football fans, the Armchair Quarterback Show is back Saturday mornings, 9 a.m. to noon Eastern. A 3-hour wake-up show that'll cover it all. College football, the NFL, fantasy football, and Major League Baseball. It's the Armchair Quarterback Show, 9 a.m. Eastern to noon Eastern, Saturday mornings, right here on the Armchair Quarterbacks 1 YouTube channel.
It's important to remember the value of taking time for ourselves to do the things that help us grow and explore, like learning something new. And now with the Great Courses Plus, it's never been easier to experience the joys of learning. The Great Courses Plus offers thousands of streaming videos that cover hundreds of fascinating topics, from World War II to choosing the perfect wine. You can even take a course on the U.S. government or dealing with stress and anxiety. And because the Great Courses Plus partners with world-class professors and experts, you're always receiving thoroughly vetted, high-quality content from every lecture. Plus, you can watch or listen anytime, anywhere with the Great Courses Plus app. So take a little time for you. Sign up for the Great Courses Plus today for a free month of unlimited access. Visit thegreatcoursesplus.com/radio to get started. That's thegreatcoursesplus.com/radio.
Hey, Braves fans, thank you for listening to Braves Country Baseball. Hi, I'm Mac McGee, and we are here to bring you play-by-play, pitch-by-pitch of your Atlanta Braves throughout the 2022 postseason. We were here for every great moment last October, and bringing you spring training and 2 to 3 games a week all season long. Please like and subscribe today. Braves Country Baseball. Let's go run this back and defend the crown back to battle.
It all starts with just one thing. When recycling, rinse out jars and cans, and avoid recycling wax paper or paper soiled with food. This will reduce recycling contamination. Find tips and more at onethingus.com. What's your one thing?
I think my jersey was one of the top selling jerseys around the world. It was like Kobe, LeBron, and then I was right behind them, and I didn't make a dollar from it, but nor did I want to, because I knew going into college what it was all about. I knew going to my dream school, where I wanted to go, the passion for it, and if I could support my team, support my college, support my university, that's what it's all about. But now we're changing it from us, from we, from my university, from being an alumni where I care, which makes college football and college sports special, to then, okay, it's not about us, it's not about we, it's just about me. And yes, I know we live in a selfish culture where it's all about us, but we're just adding and piling it onto that, where it changes what's special about college football. We turn it into the NFL, where who has the most money, that's where you go. That's why people are more passionate about college sports than they are about NFL. That's why the stadiums are bigger in college than they are in the NFL, because it's about your team, it's about your university, it's about where my family wanted to go, and you're taking that away so that young kids can earn $1. And that's just not where I feel like college football needs to go.
Armchair.
Join the Armchair Quarterback Show for its 9th season. And this year, we're doing it all in one show. Saturday mornings, 9 a.m. Eastern to noon Eastern, we'll be talking college football, the SEC, the Big Ten, other big games of the day. We'll be diving into the National Football League, focusing on the Southern football teams and all the big matchups throughout the land, and doing it while covering the point spreads, the over-unders, the prop bets, fantasy football. We'll tell you who to start and who to sit, and everybody's favorite, the stupid underdog picks. We'll cover Major League Baseball all the way through October and beyond. It's the Armchair Quarterback Show, 9 a.m. Eastern to noon Eastern, Saturday mornings on Armchair Quarterbacks 1 YouTube channel.
Tom has been a teacher for over 40 years. One day, I think one of the students had asked the question and he didn't remember the answer. I also noticed that he was letting his class out earlier than they were supposed to let out. I was really starting to worry.
Levi and I talked about how it would change our lives, but he was there beside me.
When something feels different, it could be Alzheimer's. Now is the time to talk. Visit alz.org/ourstories to learn more. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
I'm Amy Lawrence, and I'm up late, always, after hours, hanging out with you on CBS Sports Radio. Check it out, 2 a.m. Eastern, 11 p.m. Pacific.
Armchair Quarterback Radio, the gunslingers of sports talk.
And here's second-year quarterback Brett Favre out of Southern Mississippi by way of the Atlanta Falcons. They are hopeful he can succeed in the NFL. Here, Brett Favre, you want a challenge? Try this one. So with your best receiver out of the game, from the 35, 19 seconds left. Ball pumps, throws, touchdown! Is there a spark of life in Green Bay? Touchdown! Yes!
Danny Marino! Here's Marino, wide open field, throws for a touchdown. It is number 37 on the season, breaks the all-time NFL record. Going deep and open. Touchdown, Mark Cooper. Cooper has returned, and he is Cooper.
They are going to bring pressure again. Rodgers is going to roll away, throws it up in the air, says a prayer, and Janis does not stop it. Oh, please.
Hey, Braves fans, the Armchair Quarterbacks YouTube channel are bringing you Braves baseball all season long. Hi, I'm Mac McGee, and I'll be bringing you Braves baseball play-by-play for the Braves fans out there, for all of Braves country. So pull up an armchair and join us for Braves country baseball, first pitch to last pitch, Tuesday and Friday nights, right here on the Armchair Quarterbacks YouTube channel.
Remember, if for any reason you must leave your radio, please have the man at the door stamp your ear so you can listen again later.
Armchair Quarterbacks on YouTube Live, covering the AFC South and NFC South along with the rest of the NFL. Subscribe and like us today. Your first choice for sports talk live from the First Coast.
Lager, the beer that brought the forest down.
I drive an exotic imported sports car. I eat exotic foreign food like frankfurters and pizza. But when it comes to numbing my mind, I'm a patriot. I drink the beer that brought the forest down. I'm a lager man. And with the new 80-bottle trunk pack, you've got enough for the evening. Hey, it's happy hour somewhere.
Lager brings out the patriot in you.
Hey, Braves fans, the Armchair Quarterbacks YouTube channel are bringing you Braves baseball all season long. Hi, I'm Mac McGee, and I'll be bringing you Braves baseball play-by-play for the Braves fans out there, for all of Braves country. So pull up an armchair and join us for Braves country baseball, first pitch to last pitch, all season long, right here on the Armchair Quarterbacks YouTube channel.
Enjoy sun-drenched days, epic stays, and plenty of room to roam in Greater Fort Lauderdale. Our hotels, attractions, and restaurants have taken the Visit Lauderdale's Safe and Clean pledge, so you can relax and explore with confidence. When you're ready for that well-deserved staycation, our 23 miles of golden beaches await. Find wide-open spaces to hike, bike, kayak, and paddleboard. Visit your favorite attractions, then dine out in style on waterfront patios. Learn more at sunny.org.
To protect his family from disaster, Steve used his camera phone. Done. By taking pictures of his important documents, Steve can always have them stored online. Learn more simple disaster prep tips at ready.gov. A message from FEMA and the Ad Council.
Join the Armchair Quarterback Show for its 9th season. And this year, we're doing it all in one show. Saturday mornings, 9 a.m. Eastern to noon Eastern. We'll be talking college football, the SEC, the Big Ten, other big games of the day. We'll be diving into the National Football League, focusing on the Southern football teams and all the big matchups throughout the land, and doing it while covering the point spreads, the over-unders, the prop bets, fantasy football. We'll tell you who to start and who to sit, and everybody's favorite, the stupid underdog picks. We'll cover Major League Baseball all the way through October and beyond. It's the Armchair Quarterback Show, 9 a.m. Eastern to noon Eastern, Saturday mornings on Armchair Quarterbacks 1 YouTube channel.
Make contact. A collective psychosis is sweeping the nation. We're in the thick of the haze craze, and Elysian is introducing an altered state of IPA. Contact Haze is a tangled chemistry of mild haze, low bitterness, and an explosion of hop aroma. This hazy IPA bursts with notes of bright raspberry, currant, citrus, guava, and passion fruit. Available in 6-pack cans in stores. Make contact.
Hey, Braves fans, thank you for listening to Braves Country Baseball. Hi, I'm Mac McGee, and we are here to bring you play-by-play, pitch-by-pitch of your Atlanta Braves throughout the 2022 postseason. We were here for every great moment last October and bringing you spring training and 2 to 3 games a week all season long. Please like and subscribe today. Braves Country Baseball. Let's go run this back and defend the crown back to battle.
All right, ladies, there's only one spot left in my fantasy football league and 2 of you. Why don't we flip a coin? I prefer a more old-fashioned approach. 2 of you walked into this room, but only one's walking out. No, I was kidding. No, I was kidding. Tom, you're in the league. Bill, you're insane. Armchair.
Armchair Quarterback Show for its 9th season. And this year, we're doing it all in one show. Saturday mornings, 9 a.m. Eastern to noon Eastern. We'll be talking college football, the SEC, the Big Ten, other big games of the day. We'll be diving into the National Football League, focusing on the Southern football teams and all the big matchups throughout the land. Doing it while covering the point spreads, the over-unders, the prop bets, fantasy football. We'll tell you who to start and who to sit, and everybody's favorite, the stupid underdog picks. We'll cover Major League Baseball all the way through October and beyond. It's the Armchair Quarterback Show, 9 a.m. Eastern to noon Eastern, Saturday mornings on Armchair Quarterbacks 1 YouTube channel. I'm not audible, I'll use Omaha! Red Polly! Blue poncho! Do it! Rambo! Listen to Armchair Quarterbacks.
This portion of the show is brought to you by the best things in life, which are still free with minimum purchase at participating dealers. Dread running to the post office? Stamps.com brings post office and UPS services right to your computer. Send letters, ship packages, and get up to 40% off USPS and up to 62% off UPS rates. Nearly 1 million small businesses use Stamps.com to save time and money. It's a no-brainer. So skip the post office and visit Stamps.com.
Hi, this is Britney Spears.
What up, this is Jay-Z?
This is Jennifer Lopez. Armchair.
You're talking about a bunch of unproven kids who were in the prom. You know, literally, they were in the prom like 6 months ago at their high school.
No, they weren't because they were all down.
Okay, they were at a prom-less teenagers.
He's from a Big Ten state.
They were at a.
If he's from a Big Ten state, he didn't have prom. I can guarantee you that.
They were at a virtual prom. Anyway, so yeah, it's tough for Wisconsin.
That's called porn. That's called porn.
Stop it. They get a break this week because I got a mess to clean up, guys. Yeah.
Virtual.
There's my walk-off for the day. Thanks, Mac. I got my keyboard out now.
Hey, Braves fans. Thank you for listening to Braves Country Baseball. Hi, I'm Mike McGee, and we are here to bring you play-by-play, pitch-by-pitch of your Atlanta Braves throughout the 2022 postseason. We were here for every great moment last October, bringing you spring training, 2 to 3 games a week all season long. Please like and subscribe today. Braves Country Baseball. Let's go run this back and defend the crown back to battle.
At Jarvis Mutual, we're a little obsessed with jewelry. Obsessed like auctioneers with talking fast. You were going to be so hot for it. I thought so too. At dentists with asking questions, how do you propose? After they into your mouth. Great. Yes, we've made jewelry our obsession for over 100 years. We love it so much we named our kids Ruby, Amber, and Opal.
Fancy soy latte for Opal?
At Jarvis Mutual, we have jewelry and only jewelry, which is why people who are also obsessed with jewelry trust us with theirs.
Saturday mornings, the Armchair Quarterbacks, a Southern tradition like no other. We dive into the Southeastern Conference and the Southern teams in the National Football League. We talk to betting lines, fantasy football. So join us Saturday mornings and get your football weekend started right with the Armchair Quarterbacks, 9 a.m. Eastern to noon Eastern, right here on Armchair Quarterbacks 1 YouTube channel.
Yeah, Joe. I just ran exhausted.
What's in that cup?
On the coast?
Do you have any idea how important
My birthday is done. Now we can finally play the game. We are live in Tallahassee, the capital of the great state of Florida, and half an hour going in motion. Second down and 5 for Michigan, playing on real grass at Michigan Stadium. Going to the sideline, here's Sickman. Florida State was sitting and waiting for it, and Terrell Buckley has scored a touchdown. Now, do you do? Chris Davis takes it to the back of the end zone. He'll run it out to the 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 45. There goes Davis. Oh, my God. Davis is going. We're down to the 20, but the Bands are out on the field.
field. There were flags all over the place. The most amazing, sensational, dramatic, heartrending, exciting, thrilling finish in the history of college football.
In trouble in the backfield. Wants to throw now. He's going to go deep. I mean deep. And I mean touchdown, Florida. Miracle finish. A Hail Mary that's full of grace for the Gators.
Barkley trying to bounce it. And does escape. Saquon Barkley in the clear. Saquon Barkley all the way to the end zone.
It's a 31-30 game. And what are they doing?
do?
I have not seen the kicker come on the field, and I don't think he's coming on the field. Tom Osborne made this decision a long time ago. He's decided to go for two and take a shot at winning. I commend him for it.
This is for the national championship for Nebraska.
The Seminoles of Florida State. It's a battle for flagging rights and recruiting advantages in the state of Florida as the Gators come calling. And Chief Osceola ready to get it started. Tallahassee. Flush. Throws it down. Caught by Boston College. I don't believe it.
Today, we've got number 1 Seminoles against number 2 Hurricanes.
How the hell are you? It is the Armchair Quarterback Show. Turn this down a little bit. How are you, Mr. Notre Dame?
Doing great today. What a slate we have coming up here. Great college football, some pivotal baseball matchups. I'm parking my rear end on the couch and making a big dent on this Saturday.
Tones, how the hell are you?
I am more amped than Harbaugh hosting recruits in his khaki pants with banana bread waiting for them. Baby, I'm ready to roll. I think James Franklin gets a big one today. I'm on top of the world right now, ready for a great slate of college football and some postseason baseball. Let's get after it, fellas. And good morning to Doug.
Doug, you look like Doug, you look like you might have just choked someone out, man. Are you okay? You looked the way I did around the 5th inning yesterday.
Yeah, I still haven't gotten over that yet. So,
oh man, big game of big day of sports. I'm going to argue this is the biggest day in sports so far this year. You got a quadruple header in Major League Baseball. You have the possibility of not only the defending world champions, and that's right, we're the defending world champions till someone else wins it. They could get eliminated today as the Braves are down 2-1. I don't think we will. I think we're going to rally. The Dodgers, they're on the brink of elimination. And that should be an interesting one because I pointed to this, and this is why I thought the Braves would go back to the World Series. I didn't expect Atlanta's pitching to be so bad in 2 of the 3 games, starting pitching in 2 of the 3 games. You knew it was kind of a crapshoot with Strider because he hadn't pitched in a month. But he was dominant the first 2 innings, and then just I think he got rattled. He's a rookie, he got rattled. But I'm not a believer that the Dodgers starting pitching is championship worthy. And though they didn't pitch terribly last night, you're going to lean on Andrew Heaney as your game 3 starter, right? And then today, and conversely, and look, I've well known that I do not like Blake Snell, but the guy's got some talent and you're going head to head with him. Granted, the Dodgers offense is incredible, but it seems like that's the only thing everyone has focused on all year long. They've got a very good bullpen. I'm not taking any of that away from them. But here's the thing about that bullpen that I think a lot of people have not understood and not paid attention to, because a lot of folks of us east of Mississippi don't watch Dodger games. You realize Craig Kimbrell's not on their playoff roster because he's pitched that bad down the stretch. Craig Kimbrell, their savior, supposed to come in and shut that bullpen down. A guy that a lot of us was hoping would end up in Atlanta. And as much as Kenley Jansen has struggled. He hasn't Craig Kimbrell struggled. And so they dumped out their bullpen last night trying to win that game. And we go into Saturday. By the way, that's a 9:30 first pitch. And it's an elimination game on the road. The Padres are set up to win this, and if I were them, I would put all chips in because Joe Musgrove's on the mound, and they're at home. They're going against Tyler Anderson, who's a solid starter, but he's not Joe Musgrove. If Joe Musgrove goes out and does Joe Musgrove things, a San Diego native, by the way, it could be over today for the Dodgers. And I think that's the bigger upset because everyone just assumed the Dodgers were going back to the World Series. Conversely, the Astros very close to knocking out the Mariners. I think they'll probably do it today, but we'll see what happens. McCuller goes on the mound. And then the Yankees are in trouble, tied up 1-1 with the Indians and Guardians. Man, I do that every time. I try to say Cleveland so I just get away from it.
Yeah.
Don't do the Freudian slip. But Luis Severino versus McKenzie, good pitching matchup. That doesn't always spell for greatness. We saw that yesterday. And then, of course, the Braves were turning to Charlie Morton. More on that later. And they're going to counter with Noah Syndergaard, which tells me it's going to be a bit of a bullpen game. I think they're hoping to get 2-3 innings out of Syndergaard. Remember, he came in what day was that? Wednesday night. Game 2, pitched a clean inning. But he's plenty rested. So that's going to be their starter. They'll ride as long as they can with them, but I think the Phillies will try to dump out their bullpen, and that could hurt them because if the Braves can get out to a lead and Philly tries to scramble and they lose and they go to Atlanta tomorrow, Game 5 would be in Atlanta tomorrow. 4:30 is what it's looking like. The Braves will have Fried, they'll have Suarez. I don't expect Fried to pitch as poorly as he did in game number 1. All right, we'll push that off to the side. Let's get into some college football. Penn State, Michigan, the early game today. Tones, our resident Penn State guy, tell us how Penn State's going to win this.
Yeah, it's going to be good defense and a really good running game from this Penn State team. That'll be their recipe to trying to win this game. Interesting thing about this one coming in, Michigan or Penn State, both have not beaten a top 25 ranked team to date so far this season. So they've kind of been playing some lighter competition to speak. At least Penn State has played Purdue. Penn State's played Auburn. They've played Northwestern. They've played some teams that are up to par. Michigan, however, they really haven't gotten a crack at too big of a bat yet. So it'll be interesting today to see how this one fares between two opponents who haven't. But when you look at Penn State, Sean Clifford ain't going to be the reason why you win games. He might be the reason why you don't lose a football game, but Clifford is not going to be the reason why you win a football game. So I think that Penn State has to lean on their young running backs. Singleton, who's looked explosive at times this year. He's already nearing the 500-yard mark. And then you got wide receivers, Parker Robinson, Keandre Lambert-Smith. Those guys are more big play threats. That's the only real passing you might get. On defensive side of ball, Joey Porter Jr. is going to step up big. You know, he keeps pushing his way up and up into that first round projection, even more so week to week. So look for Joey Porter Jr. and this Penn State defense to have a really big game coming up today. I think that they do a good job at holding Michigan to a pretty good margin. And Penn State, now the spread is up to 7. I think a touchdown is a lot in a game with these two good defenses and two teams that have really yet to face a uphill battle this year. And today, both of these teams do face that uphill battle. So I look for Penn State to play nitty-gritty football, Nittany line football, keep it on the ground, air it out when you need to, and bring the defense to the table with your hit sticks, because you know this is going to be one of those type of Big Ten games. What's your score prediction? Let's go ahead and do Penn State. Since it's the early game, let's go ahead and do the Penn State score prediction. I got 24-21, Penn State winning by a field goal. I think James Franklin comes in here and finally wins a big one and has something to write home about and continues. Today, I know you're putting some hay on this. I know that. Oh yeah, I'm putting. You're not. I'm putting some stacks of hay. Taking Penn State in the points, or are you sacking up and taking them on the money line? Yeah, I'm going to probably do 2 bets. I'm going to do most of it on the spread, and then I'm going to have a mini sack on the money line. So I'll end up doing both. And obviously, I'm hoping and thinking and expecting the straight up win, but that's 7 points. That's almost a security blanket to me. That's a lot of points.
So your big sack is going to be on the points, and your pre-pubescent sack is going to be on the money line.
Correct.
It hasn't quite dropped yet.
Right. Hey, if they win today, it might
It's
drop in
early.
a couple weeks against Ohio State, but it ain't dropping fully yet today.
Doug, Penn State, Michigan. You taking Michigan -7 or the Nittany Lions +7?
I'm taking the Lions +7.
And
I like that.
Over unders 49. What's your score?
I got under 49 and score. I think it's going to be a really, really defensive game. I'm looking for Penn State to win 17-13.
Has anyone seen what the weather's like there today?
I think it's just a normal brisk fall day. I'm going to confirm there shortly, but I think it's just, typical Midwest.
I usually
52 degrees at game time, partly cloudy, 52 degrees.
52. All right.
Yeah.
So a typical fall afternoon in Ann Arbor. Joey, what's your prediction?
I'm going to be cheering Penn State because I don't like Michigan, but I'm going to have to be a contrarian until they show me otherwise they can win a big game in the Big Ten on the road. Usually they start off pretty hot, as they are this season at 5-0. But this is a tough Michigan team who looked a little flat last week. To me, they were overlooking Indiana a little bit, getting ready for this one. God bless Mike Hart and his recovery on whatever was going on there with the seizure he had, of course. But I think this Michigan team today is going to come out fighting hard at home, and it's going to be hard for Penn State, in my opinion, to keep up. So I like Penn State in the points, but I'm taking Michigan 27, Penn State 20, and which would be an overall push. But Michigan,
come on, grow a sack.
Fine. I'll go. You know what? I'll go Michigan 27, Penn State 19. I'll throw in a little bit of a weird score right there, and Michigan covers a 7. I'll be cheering for Penn State, but JJ McCarthy and the boys look like in the second half they got it together last week. I expect them on their home field to continue that today. If this game was in Penn State, I'd maybe say a different story, but I'm going to be looking for Penn State to switch that side because they seem to not come up with that big win in the Big Ten when they need it lately. Hopefully today's the day, but I don't see it. I think Michigan 27-19.
Okay, so I'm a little torn here because I tend to pull for all your teams as long as it's not the Florida Gators or the Miami Hurricanes or anything that smells bad. And with Tones being a Penn State guy and Sean being a Michigan guy, first of all, and I mean this sincerely, I really hope it's a good game because I hope the loser isn't eliminated, right? I hope it doesn't neither one gets blown out because I'd like to see a fun season. The only reason why I'm going to Michigan, the only reason is because it's in Ann Arbor, but I don't think they cover. I think Penn State, Michigan is going to be a slobber knocker. Doug said it best. Low scoring. I would tend to go with the under. It's already dropped 1.5 points since last night when I first jotted it down. I see today that it's 49. It was 50.5 last night. Somewhere during the Padres game, I was doing pre-show prep. So let me go with, I'll say something like 20-17. But Penn State will have the ball with the chance to make a play at the end, and we'll just see if they do it. But because it's on the road, that's the only reason why I'm going with it. And I think these are two evenly matched teams, and I think this is a fun one. And shame on Fox for putting this on at noon.
Mm-hmm.
So,
especially with the noon slate today as well, just the slate of college football today in general, they didn't do a good job at spreading it out too well, in my opinion.
Yeah, the game tonight for Fox is USC Utah. Bum, bum, bum. So that would be a decent game on most weeks. This week of all weeks, you should have put your best foot forward on Saturday night and put Michigan Penn State on. Sorry.
I agree with that.
USC, Utah, you could have either put that later in the evening, or you could have made it a 3:30 tilt, a 4:00 tilt, where it's it's noon, 1:00 their time. Don't tell me that's too early, because that's what you're asking the Penn State and Michigan fans to do.
Yep.
So, and depending where you are in Big Ten country, it's as early as 11 a.m. where you're watching it. So anyways, that's my biggest complaint about this game, is that it should not be. Fox has got to get their act together when it comes to college football. They keep putting their big game of the week on at noon. I'm telling you, most people don't get settled in and watching college football till around 3:30ish. The noon games are fine on in the background, but most fans want to get stuff done before they, plop their asses down for, 7 to 10 hours. Right. And so it's just, it's a bad look. Moving on from that game that I think we're so many big games, won't get a chance to talk about this much. NC State, Syracuse. I'm going to pull up the line on that. We are looking at Syracuse is -4. They're at home. They're undefeated. They're number 18 in the country. And strangely enough, NC State is 5-1 and ranked above them. Now, some of that has to do with the fact that NC State's actually played a really tough schedule. NC State lost a close game to Clemson, and they went on the road and beat Florida State last week. So NC State's got a good squad. We're going to find out about Syracuse today. Not watch about Syracuse, but I know what Syracuse is about. They're going to try to pull the air out of the ball, try to keep it low scoring. The over under on this game is, let me get it real quick, 42.5. So that tells you how low scoring Vegas thinks it's going to be. I'll start it off. You know what? I'm just going to kind of believe in Syracuse. I'm pulling for NC State realistically, because if Florida State's going to have any chance of getting back in the divisional race, Syracuse needs to lose. But I'm going to go ahead and say Syracuse wins it. A nasty, ugly game. Say Syracuse. I would tend to take us NC State the points. I'll say 17-16 Syracuse at home. Doug, what say you?
I'm in the same mindset you are. I even got it lower scoring. I think Syracuse will win. I was going to say 14-13. I don't want. Yep.
So would you be more likely to take the Syracuse -4, NC State +4, or the over under at 42.5?
I'd be more inclined to take the over under.
The under at 42.5.
Yeah.
Tones, what say you?
Yeah, I love Dino Babers, right? Former coach at Joey and I's alma mater, Eastern Illinois University, moved his way up quick. Then he went to Bowling Green, and now he's done a great job at Syracuse. I just think 4 points is a little too much for my blood in this one. I do like what NC State's done this year. I think ultimately Syracuse wins the game by less than 4. I'd go NC State, get in those 4 points. They're only going to lose this one by a field goal or less, in my opinion. I don't see how they don't cover. I like NC State covering at Syracuse, getting that 4 points.
I don't, Tony, with the I just hope both teams have fun today. I think he's referring to the Penn State game. Yeah. Joey, what say you, Syracuse and NC State?
Yeah, it must be opposite day for me, because I'm going to go with the over and take Syracuse and give the points. I think their quarterback, the quarterback turns it over less. I'm not going to go a super high scoring game, but I'm going to go 24-20. I'm going to go 26-20 Syracuse. So I put the over under at 46. I just think at the end of the day, this is Syracuse's time. Like you said, I'm going to ride that wagon a little bit. NC State has had a great year as well, but I want to see Syracuse keep the undefeated streak alive. So I'm going to take the over in Syracuse today.
All right, moving on from that game. Let's go ahead and talk the big tilt real quick. We'll get back into it later in the show, but Tennessee, Alabama, that's where game day is today. In Knoxville, The Tennessee Volunteers, scroll back up to get that line up there. The Tennessee Volunteers, here we go. They are now a 9-point underdog because it does look like there's been a report coming out. They do believe Bryce Young is going to play. So a 9-point underdog. The over-under, is it still 66? That's what I saw this morning. 66.5. Man, that's a lot of points. But I wouldn't bet the under because these two offenses can move, and I don't know if the defenses are going to be able to stop them. But if you really believe in Alabama and you think that they're that dominant and they always had the better players and blah, 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 you kind of tend to think that they could hold Tennessee's offense down enough to keep the score under 66.5. I'm going to go ahead and say it with my chest. I never go first, but that's my stupid underdog today. The Tennessee Volunteers are going to upset the Alabama Crimson Tide today. And they are, I'll go ahead and take them at the +9. And I think Tennessee wins. It'll be a shootout. 42-40, somewhere in that neighborhood. Because Alabama will give up points, especially if they get in a roller coaster going game back and forth. And I'm going to double down on that.
Oh, wow.
The Vols are going to be my lock of the week.
Wow. Ding, 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 ding.
And I've never done that, or I've rarely done that. And hopefully my record stands up pretty well. Stupid underdogs are literally what it is. I just broke even last week. I'm at 0. After getting a lot of negatives to start off the year. I'm 4-1 on the locks. Stupid Duke. That's what you get for going to the well 2 weeks in a row with the Duke Blue Devils. But anyways, I'm saying it with my chest. Tennessee Volunteers, stupid underdog upset, and my lock, and that's how we'll do that.
I like it. I like it.
Now, with that being said, I do apologize, Tennessee Volunteer fans, because I just put the kiss of death on you. And let's go around. Give me some predictions. Doug, what you got? Tennessee versus Bama in Knox Vegas.
You swiped it from me because that was my lock of the week. I got Tennessee all the way in this game. I don't care if Bryce Harper plays or not. He's not going to be 100%. This has got a Tennessee win written all over it.
Tones, what say you?
I do like Tennessee as well. It's scary that I'm agreeing with you gentlemen like that, but Tennessee, I think it's been their year. They've played some really good football, especially of late, and I don't see that stopping today. I like them getting that many points. 9 points is a ton. I think they cover in this one, and I honestly like them enough to take them straight up. I'm going to go Tennessee with a close one here. I'll have them winning this one 27-26, literally by the hair on their chin, but I do got them winning this one today straight up, and I love that spread of 9.
I'll have that game on in the background. I'm obviously doing the game today. Braves Phillies first pitch 2:00 if you want to tune in. But I'll have one eye trying to keep an eye on that Tennessee Alabama game. Good news is if everything goes according to plan, win, lose, or draw, the Braves game will end around halftime of Tennessee Alabama. And I'll get a chance to really lock into the second half and then get ready for Florida State Clemson. Joey, what say you?
Yeah, I went opposite on the first two. Not so fast here.
Man, I thought for sure you're going to say Alabama 70.
No,
-2.
After last week watching Hendon Hooker in this offense, man, Tennessee just took it to LSU. I expect them to not take it to Alabama, but I love them to win today as well, straight up. 35-31 Volunteers, and that's a scary thing that all 4 of us like the Tennessee Volunteers win, but I'm doing it. We're putting the stamp on them.
That is the kiss of death. All 4 of us. All 4 of us just put the kiss of death on them. Oh my God.
Yeah, we didn't even put it on just the spread. We all go money line.
Yeah, we just go, let's go, let's ride.
We are.
How about that for sack it up?
We're either gonna have this go on a famous reel and have all four of us be right, or we're gonna have brown bags over our head come next week.
Real quick, we'll get back into this game a little later. Florida State's it's down to 4.5 now. I'm a little surprised that line keeps dropping. Clemson has been covering the spread. Clemson has been dominant. It is in Florida. It is in Tallahassee. The one thing that concerns me is this is the third consecutive tough game in a row. FSU, just like NC State, you wonder what they have left in the tank mentally, because this is, these aren't professional kids. Some of them are technically, but not really, right? And you do wonder what a fourth consecutive game will do. But I think with the electricity that's going to be in that building, and when they're at home at night, it has been raucous this year. It's also the ABC game of the week. I don't know if that's where I would have went, but I get it. Florida State is a brand, and Clemson's number 4 in the country, so I get it. They're trying to make sure. I'll tell you what, I think most people are going to watch Florida State Clemson over USC Utah. Even though those two teams are ranked, most people view as USC as usually being a fraud until proven otherwise, and Utah's got 2 losses, so there that is. I'll hold off from our prediction on Florida State Clemson a little later, but I do want to get the guys who will end up dipping out soon. Doug, I'll start with you. Florida State Clemson, FSU's getting 4.5, and the over-under's 51. Fairly low score for a college football game. Though both defenses are 2 of the better in the ACC and 2 of the better in the country. What say you?
I got Florida. I got Florida winning by 5, or Florida State winning by 5. I think just like you said, those defenses are going to be a part. The over/under. I think, believe it or not, it's going to be a low-scoring game. I'm looking for Florida State to win 30-24.
Don't do that Freudian slip and call us Florida, by God. We're either FSU or Florida State or the Noles. I remember years ago when we first started building our dynasty in the late 80s and early 90s, you would hear Florida University, and I would just go all over me. Like, it's the University of Florida, and it's the Florida State University. You don't mix the two together.
Oh God!
You did catch yourself each time, but and for folks that don't understand why that drives you nuts, it would literally be like Penn State being called Penn.
Mm-hmm.
Or honestly, it would be like Penn State being accidentally called the Penn State Panthers, right? You're just like, no, we've got our own identity.
Mm-hmm. Nittany Lion, baby.
Yeah.
Shout out to Mike Hederman, the Nebraska man, joining us this evening in the chat. We got a Nebraska fan out there.
Yeah, I saw that a fan this week bought up the remaining tickets that were eligible to ensure that Nebraska has yet another sellout for the entire season.
That is insane. Maybe it was Matt Rule already doing his homework early, trying to sneak his way into the job there, because I
forget how many years they're at, but it has been decades since they haven't had a sellout, and he's bought. It was a few thousand tickets that were still left for the remainder of the season, and he bought them. Make sure. So, obviously that's someone who's living in high corn, right? Normally they say high cotton, he's in high corn.
The good stuff.
And honestly, man, I think Nebraska's playing better balls since they got rid of Scott Frost.
Yeah, they honestly have been playing a lot better football after getting rid of Scott Frost. And it's kind of funny how that works, right? He was such a hyped up head coach, got all that money going there, former alma mater at Nebraska. Now, Mr. and Mrs. Husker, the Puckheads, are glad he's gone. So Nebraska fans got their wish. He is out of there. And a lot of nasty rumors about him floating around in that town. So always interesting to hear that stuff seep out after they leave. But I like couple names to go to Nebraska. There's a couple good candidates.
I'm telling you, if I'm Nebraska, I'm doing whatever I can to try to get Matt Rule there, because if he can turn around Baylor as quickly as he did, he can turn around Nebraska.
Yeah, he did turn around Baylor quick.
Nebraska, by the way, they are getting 14 at Purdue tonight. I would be willing to take Nebraska in the points. I think they're being undervalued. As Sean likes to call them, frisky. I think they're frisky. And getting 14 on the road looks like it's going to be a fairly cool night there at Purdue. I'm not saying I'll go as crazy as to think Nebraska will win the game, but 14 is a lot of points for Purdue to cover.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like 14. That is a lot of points for Purdue to cover. They don't really blow too many people out, even when they do win football games. So that's definitely one to keep an eye on. And Nebraska's been playing a little better brand of football
Purdue
as well.
Didn't blow people out when Drew Brees was there. They didn't blow people out when Bob Greasy was there. Like every time since the day I was born, the final for a Purdue football game is usually 16-10.
Yeah, it seems that way, doesn't it? Week in and week out. Yeah, it sure does.
Doug, I know you got a jam here pretty quickly. What is your stupid underdog for the week, sir?
My stupid underdog is I think James Madison won't cover against whoever they're playing this week. I just had it on here. Sorry.
Who?
James Madison.
Oh, James Madison.
Yeah, James Madison. The Dukes.
I thought you said something medicine. I was like, what are you doing, school now?
NyQuil or DayQuil?
We're going to the school of a Tones Areola when it comes to picks.
James Madison, I love it. They're
What
playing
conference
some
are
good
those
ball.
bums in?
They just got added this year to a bowl eligible conference.
Where are they currently in? If you're going to make the call, let me know what conference they're in so I can find them.
James Madison is in the conference of the Sun Belt, the Fun Belt.
Are they playing in the Sun Belt at this point?
Yep, they are. They're officially, this year is their first year as a member of the Sun Belt.
You'd think I would know that, but Sun Belt football makes my eyes hurt, so I typically don't flip over there. All right, so JMU in the Sun Belt. I always have to put an asterisk and pointing to where the hell that you find the score the next week. You're taking Georgia Southern.
Yep, against the
12.5. Well, isn't that exciting? Good Lord.
Doug's going to be all locked in on that one while we got games like crazy over here. Doug's going to be on James Madison, Georgia Southern.
Doug.
Yeah.
Doug, what is your walk-off for the day, sir?
My walk-off is today. I don't know if anybody knows, but Bruce Sutter died.
Yes.
The other day. Bruce Sutter, when I was a kid, 1982. He made what being a closer in baseball was, and I can't tell you, watching him in person, the impact he had on Major League Baseball, and watching him pitch for the Cardinals in '82 in the World Series to close that out was one of the best sports moments I had when I was in high school.
Bruce Sutter, by the way, I jotted this down. I didn't get a chance to get into the game yesterday. I got sidetracked. So he pitched for the Cubs in the 70s and then ended up finishing off with the Cardinals and then finished his career with the Braves.
Yeah.
In 1978, he was so dominant that he won the Cy Young Award as a closer.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Which would never happen today, mainly because closers nowadays go one inning.
Mm-hmm.
Listen to this statistic, and this is all you need to know about Bruce Sutter and how dominant he was. You know, Mad Dog said it yesterday. He's top 4 in his mind all time as closers, and I kind of have to agree. I don't know who I'd put as my number 5 guy, but you definitely have to go, you know, Mariano Rivera, Bruce Sutter, and this is in order. Mariano Rivera, Bruce Sutter, and then probably I'm going Dennis Eckersley and then Goose Gossage maybe. I forget who his 4 were, but those are definitely the top 2 in my book. There were some other good ones, but a lot of a lot of them tail off at the end, right? Or a lot of them just aren't big in big moments like Hoffman. Trevor Hoffman was a really good closer, but he never had big moments, right? But this is the number. 130 appearances in Bruce Suter's Hall of Fame relief career. He went 2 innings or more.
Wow.
That's a horse.
That is a horse of a reliever, of a closer, I'm sorry.
In 1979, he had a 9.8 K rate. And when he came in, he bare minimum in that year, bare minimum was 2 innings. Normally there were 3 innings.
One of our dad's favorite pitchers.
Yep.
You said he was a Cub as well, so rest in peace.
2 ERA, and for a reliever pitching 2 to 3 innings every time out, that's phenomenal.
Yep.
All right, Doug, great walk-off. We'll see you next week. We should be back at the normal time. Have a great day, sir. We are going to take a really quick break and reset. When we come back, a lot more college football and, of course, the Major League Baseball playoffs. We'll be back in a flash.
Go Sunbelt.
This portion of the show is being brought to you by Ed's Almost Good Beer. Remember, Ed's Almost Good Beer was brewed in God's country when God wasn't looking.
Hey, football fans, the Armchair Quarterback Show is back Saturday mornings, 9 a.m. to noon Eastern. 3-hour wake-up show that'll cover it all. College football, the NFL, fantasy football, and Major League Baseball. It's the Armchair Quarterback Show, 9 a.m. Eastern to noon Eastern, Saturday mornings, right here on the Armchair Quarterbacks 1 YouTube channel.
Hey, Jacksonville, winter is the perfect time to start planning for your healthy, pest-free spring lawn with True Green, America's #1 lawn care company. True Green's science-based approach and local expertise will help give your lawn the year-round care it needs to be thick and weed-free. Go to truegreen.com/radio to save 50% on your first service. Just call 866-946-5956 or go to truegreen.com/radio today and get a lawn to be proud of.
Lager, the beer that brought the forest down.
I drive an exotic imported sports car. I eat exotic foreign food like frankfurters and pizza. But when it comes to numbing my mind, I'm a patriot. I drink the beer that brought the forest down. I'm a lager man. And with the new 80-bottle trunk pack, you've got enough for the evening. Hey, it's happy hour somewhere.
Lager brings out the patriot in you.
Dixie Handle Company, 5 generations of the Strickland family have produced quality hardwood farm and garden tools, wooden shutters, and custom furniture. This small business has been owned and operated since 1992 and ships to customers across the world. If you're looking for the highest quality tool handles, Dixie Handle Company is your place. Every item is hand-picked to your specifications. If it's made of wood, they do it. Call now, 931-722-3395. That's 931-722-3395. Or go online to DixieHandle.com. The Dixie Handle Company. Welcome to Craftsmanship, a proud sponsor of Braves Country Baseball.
Listen, we need to have a talk about Vanderhoff. The fact is, he's the sponsor. And you signed a contract guaranteeing him certain concessions, one of them being a spot on the show.
Well, that's where I see things just a little differently. Contract or no, I will not bow to any sponsor.
Sorry you feel that way, but basically it's the nature of the beast.
Maybe I'm wrong on this one, but for me, the beast doesn't include selling out. Garth, you know what I'm talking about, right?
It's like people only do things because they get paid. And that's just really sad.
I can't talk about it anymore. It's giving me a headache.
Here, take 2 of these.
Ah, new print. Little, yellow, different.
Look, you can stay here in the big leagues and play by the rules, or you can go back to the farm club in Aurora. It's your choice.
Yes, and it's the choice of a new generation.
Armchair.
Community Access Channel.
He's the armchair quarterback. He's full of beer and he's full of snacks. The all-American man.
Welcome back, y'all. Braves Country Baseball, 2 p.m. first pitch today. And yes, JL, the Braves will win today. They're going to get up off the mat. look, that was a raucous crowd in Philadelphia. I think they might have been a little stunned. I also think, and this was what my biggest concern was going into this series. It's why I hated the fact that we lost one of the games in Atlanta. They just simply don't beat Aaron Nola. And Aaron Nola has now pitched 2 really good games in the playoffs. I know what Zach Wheeler is viewed upon as their ace, but Aaron Nola is their guy. And if we can get past today, we'll have our guy on the mound tomorrow, Max Fried. They'll have Suarez. You could see Zach Wheeler come in, but Wheeler has not done relief work in a long time. So it's a lot easier to say you're going to bring a guy out of the bullpen than for the guy to actually have to come out of the bullpen, because it's not the normal warm-up routine for a starter.
Yeah, and from the outside looking in here and on the Braves, Philly fans are probably a little bit too comfortable right now being up 2-1 in the series. I really like where the Braves are at. You got your veteran pitcher on the mound who's had a lot of postseason experience against bullpen by committee. If this game gets away from the Phillies early, Braves, you have Morton on the mound, everything will calm down. Then you can get back to your home turf. So as electric as that crowd was yesterday, it's probably as good as Philly fans are feeling right now. I don't feel so good about the Phillies game today because I don't like the bullpen by committee mode. And I like Charlie Morton in the spot. You're at least I know he hasn't been great this year, but you feel a comfortability factor when he's on the mound. And that's why I like the Braves to take it and make it to a game 5.
Well, that was the other thing I was going to say is, though our guys tomorrow, our guy B, 1A and 1B, he's today. And everyone loves Strider and everyone loves Wright. But Charlie Morton, there's a reason why he's been signed by the Braves the last few years and extended again. He's an old dog. And I saw statistics that is phenomenal. Listen to this statistic. Charlie Morton is one of the best ever at this. In elimination games, Charlie Morton's postseason ERA, career postseason ERA, is 0.73.
And he is a beast out there. He makes it look easy out there when he is dealing.
He's got that curveball working, we're going to be fine.
Mm-hmm.
His biggest concern that I get sometimes is it takes him a while to get going. And that curveball, that backdoor curveball, he loses control of it and he hits batters. It's not that he starts giving up a lot of home runs and whatnot. It's not like what you saw at a Strider yesterday.
Yeah.
It's that he'll put runners on base that they just get the free pass because of that. He was so money in the playoffs last year. I just have to believe that he's not going to look like Strider yesterday in the 3rd inning, that he's going to look more like Kyle Wright. With that being said, the Braves bats have to wake up, because you can't keep asking these guys to shut people out for you to get a W. There's too much talent in that lineup. And ironically, the only guys that are really hitting right now with pop is Matt Olson. Acuna's getting on base, but he's not hitting the ball. He's pulling everything. And when Acuna pulls everything, that's usually when he gets in trouble. He's gotten a few singles. Travis d'Arnaud's had some good at bats, but Dansby Swanson needs to show up. Austin Riley needs to wake the hell up. $212 million man with the ring on your finger. It's time to shine, baby boy. This is it. This is do or die. And this isn't, we'll get him next year. No, you never know what your team's going to look like from year to year. There's been a lot of really talented teams, and the Braves will be another very talented team that don't make the playoffs because of injuries, because whatever. There's a million reasons. Seize the opportunity, because you don't know how many of these you're going to get. And the Braves, Derek Jeter of this generation, Dansby Swanson, it's time to earn that money that you're going to be asking for in about a month.
Yeah, he's going to ask for a big payday. And me and a buddy were actually talking about this yesterday. He's like, Braves are going to be good for a long time. And I'm like, you never know in baseball. Braves already have some injury problems with some of their younger guys. You never know on a year-to-year thing. So to me, Braves go all in this year. You got to win it in the present. You never know when a run could come to an end in the snap of a finger. So Braves, you got to root for it now. Go all out while you have this team.
don't get me wrong, the Braves are going to be dominant for the next decade. They've got their core locked up, but you don't know how good you're going to be championship-wise, per se.
Exactly.
I think in the next 10 years, assuming the Braves players stay relatively healthy, the Braves are in the playoffs at least 8 of the next 10 years.
Likely so with that roster, for sure. Health is the one big
Probably
thing.
win the division half the time.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't mean anything because you get in the playoffs. I mean, I'm sorry, but Philadelphia's not a good baseball team. But has this big layoff hurt Atlanta? It's a fair question.
Mm.
You see the Dodgers struggling. You see the Yankees dropped one yesterday. The only team that hasn't sputtered is the Astros. The only one who hasn't sputtered is Yordan Alvarez.
Yeah.
Yordan Alvarez doesn't do what he's done the last couple of games. It could be 1-1, if not 0-2 heading back to Seattle. So, baseball is the hardest sport of all. We all know that. And there's a reason why it's so hard to win these titles. That's why what the Yankees did was so incredible in the 90s. Even though, yes, they had the money, but still they stayed focused, and to keep the focus.
Yeah, it's like, look at the Dodgers, right? Perfect example. I mean, money buys them whatever they want. They've been a dominant team for the past decade plus, but how many rings do they have to show for it? Only one. So it's one of those situations, and that's a Mickey Mouse half ring anyways. So, one of those situations like we were just talking about, you could be good for a long time, but only one championship.
I didn't have a chance to edit it. I wish I could have, but I saw a video last night that made me fall out of my seat. There just wasn't enough time to do it this morning. I saw a video last night, I believe it was on TikTok, and there's this Braves fan who comes out into a doorway, very plain looking video, just has a white t-shirt on and a Braves hat on. And the caption reads, "To Charlie Morton." And the guy peers in like this, and he goes, "Fix my life, you son of a bleep." You hear me? And then he pauses. He goes, "Go Braves." I'm like, that's the way to say it. Like, yes, fix my life today, Charlie Morton. That's what I want you to do. Fix my life. If we lose, I'm going to be just devastated. And my wife knows I've got a bottle of whiskey on ice I've been holding for the end of the season, win, lose, or draw. And if we lose, that thing is going down. And I might need to turn off my phone because there's going to be a lot of cursing of the government. And Florida State's playing Clemson. So if I get a double whammy tonight,
we might
that bottle of whiskey is gone.
I might be face down in the pool.
We might have to put an alert out for McGee next week, Armchair Quarterback Show. Where the hell did our host go?
Exactly. All right, let's get back into some college football games we haven't discussed. This one intrigues me, though. I won't be able to watch it because I'll be in the middle of doing the broadcast. The other thing is I'm going to keep on Tennessee Bama. I'm not going to have 9 games on like I normally do when I'm doing a game. I focus on the baseball broadcast. Oklahoma State TCU. I'll go and put the spreads back up there. Let me hit that real quick. All right. Oklahoma State TCU, excuse me. That game is at 3:30 Eastern. Well, there it is. TCU is a 4.5-point favorite. If I was going to go anywhere with this, let me see what the actual.
Wow, the over-under is high.
Well,
TCU could score.
It's 2 really explosive offenses, 68.5. So just like Tennessee, Alabama. If you told me I had to choose one of those for an under, I would go Tennessee, Alabama before I went. I think TCU, Oklahoma State's going to be an absolute shootout. But the only problem is when you start creeping into those 68.5s and whatnot, everything has to go perfectly. You can't have a couple of drives that stall out deep in someone's territory that just ate the clock up. So when it starts getting into the high 60s, I usually just stay away from the damn over-under, unless I really feel good about the under.
Yeah, I agree. It's hard to bet an over that high. When it's in the 60s or 70s, like you said, unless you feel stone cold on the under, I'd stay away from it.
I do feel like it'll probably be in that range because these two offenses they have gone up and down the field. But, man, that's a lot of points. Who are y'all willing to take on that one? TCU, a 4.5 point favorite, though. Oklahoma State's ranked higher, but TCU is at home.
Yeah, I'm going to lean on Oklahoma State here, getting the 4.5 points. I like them a lot. Coach Gundy's been there a long time, and he has them ready to roll. They've barely missed the playoffs the past few years. They've been on the outside looking in. I think now they seize an opportunity here in the Big 12 to make some noise this year, and it starts with this game. You lose to TCU, you're almost done, guaranteed. I think Gundy has his guys ready to play today. I think that explosive offense is ready to roll today, and I think Sanders, their quarterback, who's had a tremendous year so far, keeps it up today. And I think Oklahoma State not only covers the spread, but I got these Cats winning straight up outright. Give me Oklahoma State winning 38-35 in a bit of a shootout here in this one. Not confident enough to take the over. I do think it probably comes in, but as McGee alluded to, you need everything to fall like dominoes for that to happen. Give me Oklahoma State in the Fighting Gundys.
So you take them in the points. I would look anytime it's more than a field goal. I think the game's going to be a nail biter. I usually do take the underdog. I would say that's probably not the smart way to go, right? Usually these games end in a touchdown one way or the other. But I would lean with you. Joey, what say you?
I'm going opposite. I'm taking Max Duggan, who I think is the better quarterback in this one, and I'm going to take TCU 42, Oklahoma State 35, and which will be a really fun game to watch. At a tough time slot competing with Tennessee, Bama. But I just think TCU on their home field, led by Max Duggan, I think they just absolutely find a way. And 42-35, that has the over coming in as well. So a lot has to go right for that, but it's going to be a shootout over there in Texas.
All right, moving on from that game. We got a few more before Joey has to jump off here. Joey, real quick.
Yes, sir.
I want to hit some baseball lines in case people are thinking about putting some money on the baseball line.
Absolutely.
This is what we're looking at today. This is what I see. I'm on a gambling website. So I usually keep the football lines over on ESPN, but I go with the gambling website just because there's more options. The Braves are minus 130 today. Phillies plus 108. Houston with Lance McCullers and versus George Kirby, a good pitching matchup. It's even Steven. Both of them are minus 110. The Yankees are minus 115 in Cleveland against Tristan McKenzie. The over-under there is 6.5. By the way, Houston's over-under is 7. Atlanta's over-under is 9. And then tonight, Tyler Anderson and the Dodgers are minus 120. Joe Musgrove is even in the Padres. The first one that jumps out at me over any of it is take Joe Musgrove in the Padres. You're getting even money, and Joe Musgrove was so damn unhittable against the Mets. No matter what he had on his ears. By the way, they did a comparison. It's pretty funny. You know how Joe Musgrove, they kept saying, all the baseball geeks kept saying, well, his spin rate was higher than it was in the regular season. They did a side-by-side comparison, and the average spin rate in the baseball playoffs has been plus 5.3%, and Musgrove's was right in that neighborhood. It was like 5.4. So anyways, in other words, yes, he was throwing harder. It might just be good old-fashioned adrenaline.
It's postseason baseball. These
and
guys
they're not
know
holding
that.
back. They're not going, oh man, I better not wear myself out. Don't want to blow my elbow out. They're trying to get. They're not just trying to win that championship. People don't understand. There's life-changing money involved in that.
Yeah, and it's the Padres. They are going balls to the wall for this championship, and you got to do that against the Mets, against the Dodgers, and whoever comes out of Philly, Atlanta. So these guys are throwing for their life out there, like McGee said, for more money and all that good stuff. You can't blame them at all, and I'd expect the spin rates to be up, quite honestly.
Joey, are there any of those baseball games that jump out at you that you lay some on?
The two games I would lay a little bit of cheddar on. I already alluded to the Braves a little bit earlier. I would be throwing a little bit on them. Until you're beaten as the defending champ, you're still the champ, as you alluded to, with Charlie Morton on the mound. I feel pretty comfortable there against bullpen by committee. I also like the Astros today. Lance McCullers, listen, he had some injuries last year, missed some time here and there. This year, he's just been, as usual, a stud. In a 1-1 or in a 2-0 lead, they could just close it out today. I think they do so. So I like the Braves and the Astros, even though both the favorites. I'm fine with that. I'm laying a good amount on each of those teams in the first two games of the MLB playoff today, in the Braves and the Astros.
All right, what is your stupid underdog, and what is your walk-off for the day? Did we lose him?
Did he go all gray screen on us for now? Well, I could give my stupid underdog right now if we need to.
Well, no, just hold off on that. If we lost him,
he'll probably be back in a second. I bet you.
There he is.
Hey. Well, you're half here now. Now we can see you. Now we just can't hear you.
All right, brother. We're gonna go ahead and hit a quick commercial break. Drop your stupid underdog in the chat, Joey.
I'll text you.
Okay. All right. Oh, you're back. What's your stupid underdog?
Real quick, stupid underdog pick will be Nebraska plus 14. I really like that at Purdue. Like you said, even when Purdue's good, they don't blow people out. So I'm going to take, for Mr. H and my Nebraska fans out there, take the Cornhuskers at plus 14. And my lock of the day is going to be BYU at home against Arkansas. BYU's -1. I think they get off the schneid today after a tough game against Notre Dame a couple weeks ago. BYU is my lock, -1, and Nebraska plus 14. You all have a great day and enjoy the games.
So BYU is going to sink us 2 weeks in a row. Heard. John went on this big diatribe last week, telling him there's no way BYU's not going to cover, and then they don't. All right.
Hey, good luck to your Braves today. I'm hoping for you and your whiskey bottle the best, my friend.
I'm assuming that Notre Dame's going to cruise, but good luck to y'all.
You never know. Thank you, guys. Have a good one.
Yes, sir. We will be back in a flash when we come back. Bobby's going to join us. We'll be back in just a lickety split here on the Armchair Quarterback Saturday morning kickoff show.
Woohoo!
You're listening to CBS Sports Radio. We are all sports 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Strong opinions and your phone calls. Expected here. CBS Sports Radio.
I'm not audible. How audible I'll use? Red Polly. Blue poncho. Dude, Rambo. Give me first shot here,
You're listening to the Armchair Quarterbacks.
It's been flying. Sally Buffalo.
This portion of the show is being brought to you by The Best Things in Life, which are still free with minimum purchase at participating dealers.
Make contact. A collective psychosis is sweeping the nation. We're in the thick of the haze craze, and Elysian is introducing an altered state of IPA. Contact Haze is a tangled chemistry of mild haze, low bitterness, and an explosion of hop aroma. This hazy IPA bursts with notes of bright raspberry, currant, citrus, guava, and passion fruit. Available in 6-pack cans in stores. Make contact.
Hey, football fans, the Armchair Quarterback Show is back Saturday mornings, 9 a.m. to noon Eastern. A 3-hour wake-up show that'll cover it all. College football, the NFL, fantasy football, and Major League Baseball. It's the Armchair Quarterback Show, 9 a.m. Eastern to noon Eastern, Saturday mornings, right here on the Armchair Quarterbacks 1 YouTube channel.
I'm Amy Lawrence, and I'm up late, always, after hours, hanging out with you on CBS Sports Radio. Check it out, 2 a.m. Eastern, 11 p.m. Pacific.
Enjoy sun-drenched days, epic stays, and plenty of room to roam in Greater Fort Lauderdale. Our hotels, attractions, and restaurants have taken the Visit Lauderdale's Safe and Clean pledge so you can relax and explore with confidence. When you're ready for that well-deserved staycation, our 23 miles of golden beaches await. Find wide-open spaces to hike, bike, kayak, and paddleboard. Visit your favorite attractions, then dine out in style on waterfront patios. Learn more at sunny.org.
To protect his family from disaster, Steve used his camera phone. Done. By taking pictures of his important documents, Steve can always have them stored online. Learn more simple disaster prep tips at ready.gov. A message from FEMA and the Ad Council.
You're a cop, huh? No, what I am, Sonny, is about 50 pounds heavier and one hell of a lot meaner, so you better straighten up your act. I don't think I like it.
Woo! We're back. Bobby the Kid's with us. Bobby Schneider, how are you, sir?
I'm doing great. We got a big day of sports ahead of us. I'm looking forward to it.
Enormous day in sports. College football, probably the biggest Saturday in college football, top to bottom. Not just to date, I think all year. There's very, very few times you get 6 matchups in college football of ranked teams clashing. And the implications are huge, although there will probably be a Saturday down the road that's a little bigger because you'll have some big time upsets that'll just knock some folks out. But this is elimination Saturday or separation Saturday. It doesn't quite eliminate, but separation Saturday. You win today and you're the Tennessee Volunteers. You can put your freaking chest out, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now you're talking college football playoffs, possibly.
This is the big prove it game, I'd say, for them.
And then, of course, you got the showdown in Georgia. But you got to get there first.
Mm-hmm.
If you beat Alabama and you lose a nail biter to Georgia next week, you're still in the talk.
Mm-hmm. Well, it'll probably keep you out of the SEC championship. That isn't necessarily a bad game.
Yeah, it would keep you the SEC championship game, but who's to say that they would keep them out of the playoffs? Because let's say Georgia ran the table and beat Alabama in the assuming it's Alabama in the SEC title game.
I was talking to a friend who's a Tennessee fan. He had asked if Tennessee beats Bama, Tennessee loses to Georgia, and Bama beats Georgia in the SEC championship, how does that work out? Where do they go with that?
A lot of it'll be style points, and the other thing you'll look at is a lot of times they lean on the conference champion over the team that didn't make it.
Yeah.
But if Tennessee thumps Alabama today, wins convincingly, close loss to Georgia, and Alabama barely beats Georgia, you might get Alabama and Tennessee in the playoffs and no Georgia.
I can see that.
It'll be a lot of style points. Or who the hell knows? They might throw them all in there and go, ACC, suck it.
The SEC teams.
Clemson, you should have thought of that before you lost to Florida State by 17 tonight. Let's go. But today is definitely separation Saturday. LSU and the Gators. Let's go ahead and hit that real quick. I see Tony in the scores. He's saying LSU by 10 in the Swamp. I still think Florida's going to win that game. LSU, they'll show signs of improvement from week to week, but they never seem to put it all together. Let's go ahead and share the screen. Gonna have to find. Let's see here. I'm gonna have to find the actual scores for that because
it won't be in the top 25. You have to change that.
No, and I won't be able to change the screen because it goes straight to top 25, and then I would have to expand it. It's kind of a pain. So I'll go ahead and just pull it up on another screen and tell you what I see. I thought there would be a click down button, but the screen's too small. Florida -2.5. The over-under is 50.5, so that has not moved. I think we'll get a pretty close, low-scoring game. I still think Florida's probably going to win that game by a field goal. Like
I'm on the same boat as you.
23-20, 24-21, somewhere in that area.
I like Florida -2.5, and I would definitely go with the under in that game.
Yeah, I like Florida in this game as well. I think that Florida is going to be prepared in the swamp against LSU. LSU, right when you think they might have something going this year, they take a step back, as McGee alluded to. So I think Anthony Richardson has a nice game today, and Florida capitalizes on that, and they win a close one.
Yeah, LSU they're too inconsistent offensively.
Mm-hmm.
And Anthony Richardson, he's definitely the better quarterback in this matchup. And as long as they don't ask him to do too much with his arm, I don't think he's going to make big mistakes. The one thing I will beg Billy Napier to do, for all the Florida fans out there, when it is appropriate, punt the damn football.
Mm-hmm.
Kick the damn field goal. Nothing wrong with a coffin corner kick. Quit going for it on 4th and 4 on your own 35.
Because
this is always my thing. It's different if the game's late and you need the touchdown. We get that. Throw that out. But let's just say second quarter. Let's say it's 4th and inches on your own 30. What are you gaining by getting that, and what could you lose? If you gain it, you get another set of downs, and nothing's guaranteed that you're going to get another first down. So you might be punting from the same situation anyways. But if you don't get it, a bobbled snap, one guy busts through the A gap and knocks your running back into oblivion, like a Jadeveon Clowney type play, anything could happen. And you lose, you totally flip the field and put your defense back on its heels.
Mm-hmm.
So believe in your defense a little more. Florida's got a solid defense. Quit just thinking that you have to go out there. I don't know if it's his years in Louisiana, but he thinks he has to score 70 points. Punt when you have to punt, and don't listen to the analytic dorks because they're usually wrong. They'll tell you, well, 68% of the time this works. Yeah, but what about the other 32%? 53% of the time this works, but 47% of the time it doesn't. Yeah, but you got to go with the point. Yeah, but you got to put it all in one capsule as far as you're taking statistics of when Alabama goes for it on 4th down against James Madison. Not when the Gators are going for it on 4th down against a good LSU defensive front, right?
Correct.
So that's my problem with all the analytics. They never compare apples to apples. They're comparing apples with oranges and bananas and pears and grapes. It's a big damn fruit basket.
Yeah, and the other thing is, you already made a great point, but they don't do it based on situationals as well, right? So they just assume that every situation is the same when they put analytic percentages into that stuff. No, it's way different. Like the Raiders going for 2 the other night with 5 minutes left in the game. Sure, might be a little more appropriate with less time left in the game, but stuff like that, you got the best field goal kicker in the league. You're overthinking it there. Way too cute. Raiders ended up getting the ball back, and they could have won with a field goal, but instead shenanigans happened. They went for 2, and that was that. So really a shame to see analytics costing some teams football games when they think it's all just good. And I'm not saying it's all bad, but half of it is garbage in my opinion.
By the way, I jinxed the Padres, and I do apologize ahead of time, Padre fans. I said it with my chest, and I just took the Padres on the money line a second ago.
Oh geez,
dude, Musgrove at home. Let's go.
Oh yeah. Yep. I agree, man.
And
in that ballpark,
not let it get back to Los Angeles.
No.
Just like the Braves and Phillies. Phillies lose today. Might as well not get. Here's a slip of the tongue by the Phillies. Yesterday press conference. Bryce Harper. I'm trying to think of who was sitting next to him. It was probably Castellanos, but I don't remember. It might have been Schwarber. But they were talking about how electric the crowd was, and Harper said, I hope it's like this for the next 2 weeks. What? You say, I hope it's like that tomorrow. You don't know if you're going to be playing the next 2 weeks.
No.
Not only are you assuming you're going to beat the Braves, you're assuming you're going to be in the damn World Series.
Teams use that as bulletin board material.
On your own team there, Brycey boy.
If I'm the Braves, I'm using that as locker room talk, bulletin board material.
It probably went under the radar. They probably didn't even pay attention to it. I mean, if they're smart, they're listening to the show right now. But I mean, that would be the equivalent of Spencer Strider coming off the, being interviewed yesterday, goes, well, I really hope I get it together by the time we get to the World Series. You're like, what? What are you talking about?
Mm-hmm.
You got to win tomorrow. And Snickers said it best last night. He said, I told the guys, we got to, what you're facing now is you got to win one in a row. And that's the mentality. I will always question a lot of things that Snicker does, setting the lineups, some situational things that he does are questionable. But the one thing I'll never question, he does a great job of commanding that locker room. He's a very calming presence. So if the Braves lose, don't people start pointing at Snicker. The Braves lost because the Braves players didn't show up. But just like that, I don't even know how I got on that rant. I'm just so fired up about this game today. But just like the analytics and whatnot, getting back to the college football, and I guess you can draw a comparison, but Billy Napier needs to be more of a calming presence for this young Florida team. And you're not a calming presence if you're going forward on fourth down on your side of the field in the first half. I mean, unless you're down by a boat ton, you're like, well, we can't keep punting the ball. The defense is trash, right? I get that. But I feel like if he would have managed that game a little differently, he probably upsets Tennessee in Knoxville. And that's a big game tonight. I think Florida wins. Y'all think Florida wins. We can move on. Back to Florida State Clemson real quick. FSU getting, let's see where it is now. Let me recalibrate my screen over here to make sure it hasn't changed.
4.5, I think still.
Is it still 4.5? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, 4.5 and 51 still the over under. Bobby, we haven't had your take on it. I'll tell you what, I'll go ahead and give my prediction. I think Florida State does shock the world tonight. I think they're going to knock off Clemson. That team is a different team in Tallahassee. They looked phenomenal in the first half against NC State, and then the wheels just fell off. It's going to be a very low-scoring game. I would definitely take the under.
Mm-hmm.
Those are two of the better teams, not only in the ACC, but in the country. I mean, I got Florida State winning this. I'm a little surprised the over-under is as high as it is. I got them winning it something like 17-16. Just a slobber knocker of a game. Bobby, what say you?
I'll tell you what, I'll take Florida State plus 4.5 if I were betting on this. But I still think Clemson edges out a close win. I think they get the job done. But I'm with you on the low scoring aspect of it. I don't think it's going to be a lot of points put up tonight in that matchup.
So what's the score?
Let's say we'll do 2017 Clemson.
And Tones, what say you?
Yeah, Clemson has been skating thin ice a little bit. I'm going with Florida State and the points here. I'm taking Florida State with the 4.5 points, and I got Florida State winning this one by a point, actually. I'm going to go with them getting the upset at home tonight. I like the way they've been playing this year. I like the way that Travis has played this year. I'm going with Florida State winning this one 28-27. I think it's really going to be a battle, and I think Clemson, they have looked good, really good at certain points this year, but I also think they've gotten by with some ice skating. So give me Florida State in the upset in this one. What the hell do I got to lose? And what do they got to lose, quite frankly?
Our third game in a row. So we have to lose. We got a lot to lose.
Whatever, man. You know what I'm saying. I get. I mean,
as long as the wheels don't fall off, they should get to a bowl game, which is what they're really looking to do this year.
Exactly.
Surprised a lot of folks beating LSU. You could argue that had they played a little crisper in the second half of these games, they could be 6-0. They would definitely be 5-1. It wouldn't have taken much to outlast NC State. They just absolutely could not get anything going offensively. They kept putting their defense out there, and the defense is eventually going to wear down. Jordan Travis has to play better. He played phenomenally in the first half, and then he just looked like absolute. And a lot of it was the pressure that was getting to him, but he's a senior. Hell, he's an 8-year senior at this point. He's got to be able to check down. He's got to be able to get the ball. And look, they got to get the ball in those. They have one of the better receiving corps in the country. Get the ball. I don't care if they're, and I hate the play because it's boring, but I don't care, man. Get a damn bubble screen going. Let's go. Let's get the ball up in space.
It was something that confused me. What happened on that last play on offense for Florida State last week? That just that boggled my mind.
We're still trying to figure that out.
Just the play call, the throw was terrible. The play call was terrible. I could not figure that out for the life of me.
I still say, though I like Norvell all in all, I still say he does not, and I think it's going to just come with experience. He does not make great decisions when the chips are down in the big moments. Now, I really think, as time goes on and he gets used to these bright lights and he's not in Memphis anymore, I think he'll be much better. But he makes some really questionable calls and gambles that you don't have to do. Losing their starting running back hurt, but we've got running back depth too, so that can't be the excuse. Simple fact of the matter is, you're up 17-3 at the half. You lose 19-17. You needed one damn scoring possession in the second half, and you win that game. So, all right, moving on from that, because I could go on that forever, like I can the Braves. We will get back into the Braves here in a little bit. Mississippi State, Kentucky. We have not talked about this game, and I'm looking forward to this one. Look, listen to what all is going to go down at the same time tonight. At around 7:30, 8 o'clock Eastern, you're going to get Clemson, Clemson, Florida State, ABC. You're going to get Mississippi State, Kentucky, SEC Network. And though we kind of bash it a little bit, it could be entertaining, USC, Utah on Fox. All that's going down at the same time tonight. Mississippi State, Kentucky might be the best game of the bunch. And Kentucky is a 3.5-point underdog at home.
And by the way,
my lock, but I'm telling you, I almost took Kentucky. It was 4 last night. I grabbed it at 4.
You're going to have a couple postseason baseball games sprinkled in as well.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I was focusing on college football, but yet 7:30 will be Yankees, Indians, Guardians, Indian Guardians. Guard the Indians, whatever the hell they are. Anyways, I mentioned this, I think yesterday, but you remember the bugs that got Jabba Chamberlain years ago? Bobby, you probably wouldn't remember this.
Yes.
07.
Mm-hmm.
The bugs that were all over Jabba Chamberlain when the Yankees went to Cleveland.
Mm-hmm.
The ALCS, I think that was, or that might have been the ALDS. I don't remember. But anyways, I guess that had to be the DS because 07 was.
I think it was DS.
Yeah, it was because. So they come around every 6-7 years, 7-8 years. It's like a 7.5 year. It's not clockwork. They are back in Cleveland this weekend. There've been all kinds of talk about it. And Bobby, if you haven't seen the video, go online sometime today and just look up Jabba Chamberlain playoffs is probably all you have to hit, or Jabba Chamberlain bugs, or Jabba Chamberlain versus Cleveland.
Are they cicadas? Is that what they are?
No, they're not cicadas.
No.
They're much smaller.
Mm-hmm.
What they look like is big gnats.
Yes.
They were everywhere.
Look it up. Last week they invaded the Browns home game. So if you get a good look last week, they were all over, and people were alluding to it last week. They were like, oh my gosh, they were here for baseball and now they're here for a Browns game. They were in the press box and the announcing booth everywhere.
Midges. That's what they're called. They're called midges.
Yeah, midges.
And I'm
everywhere.
going to see if I can make this big enough where y'all can see it. I don't know if this does it justice, but I'm going to go ahead and slide it in here anyways. Can you see that?
No, I see the scores.
Yeah,
you should be able to see it right now.
Yep.
Oh,
now we got it.
yeah. Oh man.
So you see all those little bugs, but that doesn't do it justice. They were everywhere. Everywhere.
You can see him all over his hat, inside the hat, outside the hat. It's like, you know, when you're trying to pitch in playoff baseball, you got a little more to focus on than a bunch of gnats swarming.
He fell apart. He was one of their better pitchers at the time.
Mm-hmm.
I see a video of it. They're all over his neck.
Yeah. His career was short-lived, but the manager of the Yankees at the time, Hall of Fame manager Joe Torre, still says of all the things that happened in his career, that's what he most regrets, is not taking his team off the field.
And Chamberlain was supposed to be the next big thing back in the day. He was, you know, one of the top prospects in all of baseball at one point.
Here's a picture of Posada trying to spray down. I think that's Rivera.
Yeah, that's Mariano.
And he's trying to spray some kind of bug spray to get rid of them. And it doesn't work. It doesn't work. Like, I mean, they were everywhere. It was insane. But yeah, they're back this weekend. So we'll see if we get another. It may not be a weather delay. We may get a midges delay. So there you have that.
Interesting.
Back to the world of football real quick. Bama, Tennessee. Did you give a prediction on that yet, Bobby?
I have not. No.
I think so. What you got?
Ooh, I mean, going up and look at it. So we got, I don't know. I don't want to say
-9 and the over under, I think is 60. Is it 66?
67. I'm seeing.
Oh,
I don't want to jinx it for Tennessee, but I think this is going to be a lot closer game than the line indicates.
Put your chest on it, man. Come on. We've already done it.
I mean, 1 point.
Any worse than what we've already done.
34. Let's see. 31-30 Bama. Barely.
The four of us earlier today all picked Tennessee to win outright. In fact, they're my stupid underdog and my lock. So I mean, I've put the kiss of death on them.
I have them listed as my stupid underdog choice too.
If it makes Tennessee fans feel any better, I have not hit a stupid underdog pick yet this year.
And that'll do it.
So I'm due, right?
Exactly.
No,
that just means you're due.
For folks who may have not seen the show before, want to know what stupid underdog picks, what they are is we take a team who's an underdog to win outright. If you win, you get rewarded with those points, and we keep up with the points throughout the year. If they cover, you get 2 points. If they don't cover, you get -2. So the standings look like this going into this week. Doug has gone down to 24.5. He's coming back to the pack. Tones is at 13.5. Bobby's at 19. Joey's 7.5. I worked my way back to 0. Oh, mercy. Trosh -6, Sean -8. It has not been it's not been a banner year for us yet, but
I held on by a sliver with Kansas last week by that half a point. I barely covered. They were getting 7.5. They lost by 7.
We do still have a winning record in the locks, although last week we took it on the chin. But we do still have a winning record in the locks. I think we're 15-14 15-14-2. Hope to get back to our winning ways this week. Tones.
Go ahead.
Oh no, what are you gonna say real quick?
I would say Trost and Sean got to start aiming for the fences because it's not looking good for them.
Yeah. Bobby, you improved to 2-2 on the locks.
Hey, I'll take it.
Joey got his first loss. He's 3-1.
I'm the sheep in the room. Don't bring me up, please.
No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. He was 3-1. Now he's 3-2.
I'm still waiting on the Rays to get a run.
Yeah. Tone's 1-3-1. I'm 4-1. Trosh 2-2-1. Sean 2-2. Bobby 3-2. There we go. Tones, what is your stupid underdog pick?
My stupid underdog pick, let's look in the Mountain West, actually. I'm going with UNLV getting 10 points at home against Air Force. Both of these schools are 4-2 heading into this one. UNLV is undefeated at home. They're 3-0 at home. Air Force is actually 1-2 in their conference, so they haven't been too strong there yet. They play a run gun heavy style of offense. So if UNLV gets up in this one early, like they have been on multiple opponents this year, I don't think Air Force keeps up. That's at 10:30 Eastern time on CBS Sports Network. So I'm not picking a huge one, but not picking bottom of the barrel. I'm going UNLV plus 10.
Okay, but you can't do that because Air Force is the favorite.
Right, I'm going with UNLV plus 10 as my stupid underdog.
Oh, never mind.
Sorry if I misspoke about something. That's my bad. I meant to say.
I think I had it scrambled in my head wrong. All right, so you're taking UNLV plus 10.
Yes, sir. Sorry about that.
No, I think that was me. I think I heard Air Force plus 10. And just anyways. What is your lock of the day?
I've been bouncing back and forth. I'm actually between two favorite teams of people on this show, so I don't want to jinx anyone the way I've been going this year with my locks at 1-3-1. But give me the Colts at -2.5 against the Jaguars tomorrow, actually. I think if Frank Reich loses this one, he's going down the Matt Rule path a little bit. The Colts have not showed up against the AFC South yet to this point in the season. They've actually won a couple other games against teams like Kansas City and Denver. Both of their losses and their tie have came interdivision this year. If they want to keep pace with the Titans and battle it out with them, they need this win against Jacksonville. Trevor Lawrence, the past 2 weeks, has fallen off a little bit after an extremely hot start to the season, beating the Chargers and all that good jazz. I think Colts try and find a path to victory. They're only -2.5. They only got to win by a field goal. Matt Ryan has to play cleaner football. I think he knows that. They're supposed to get Jonathan Taylor back tomorrow, so we'll see on that. If they do, that's a big boost. And Alec Pierce, their rookie wide receiver, is playing better. And they're the only defensive team in football in the past couple decades that haven't allowed a point in the fourth quarter yet this season. And we're already 5 games into the year, so their defense is playing incredible. If Frank Reich loses this one to Jacksonville, he goes 0-2 against Jacksonville. Don't let that man anywhere near the stadium that Monday. So give me the Colts, laying the 2.5. I was close to picking the Braves, but I don't want to be the reason that they're eliminated, so I'm laying off those puppies. Give me the Colts at -2.5.
I'd fire the general manager before I fired Frank Reich.
That's fair. I mean, you could go
back years. He's tried to find a quick fix with Phillip Rivers and Matt Ryan. He can't keep signing octogenarians off the street and hope that they can, well, he was good back in the 90s. Let's go ahead and sign him.
Well, and the problem with last year too. Yeah, and if you do that, you at least have to give him weapons galore, right? They refuse to sign a wide receiver, refuse to sign a tight end, so that's fine. But these older guys, they need those weapons. Look at Brady; he went to Tampa for a reason. You got the weapons.
Matt Ryan has been on the decline for 5 years, so I would put it at the feet of the general manager, and I would say, why in the hell didn't we do something in the draft and just look at Matt Ryan as a place save? But then also I gave up draft picks for him. You got some back with Wentz. Yeah, I forgot about Wentz. Sorry. I mean, it's been back to back years that he's been trying to cheat the system, and it hasn't worked.
No, and it could technically be considered 4 years, as they scrambled and traded for Jacoby Brissett the year before that when Andrew Luck went down. Not saying he's
I think that was I
agree.
I'm not putting for that.
I know I'm not putting it in the same ballpark, but they've acquired 4 starting quarterbacks in a row in theory. So, interesting maneuvers on the Colts' behalf.
The fact that this entire time, from Andrew Luck all the way to Matt Ryan, they have not tried to cultivate a quarterback in their system. Not even of note, right? They haven't spent a high draft pick on him. Nothing. They think that they can cheat their way into it.
Well, they did just get they did activate Ellinger to QB2, so maybe they think that's their young pup of the future. No, but
All right, whatever, dude. All right, brother. We will see you next week. Steven's coming in, so we'll go ahead and bring him in, and have a good day.
Yeah, go Braves today. Let's get that, another game in that series. Go Gators today. Go Troches fighting Dolphins tomorrow. Hope everyone's squads have success this evening and tomorrow evening. I'm excited to watch a great weekend in sports, gentlemen. Always a pleasure.
All right, brother.
Later.
Steven, how are you today?
Man, I'm doing fantastic. I just got back from my daughter's soccer game, and she's out there like pancaking people.
Man, what the hell is going on with your look today?
Well, I put a hat on. I figured I'd give you guys some new content.
Jeez. It looks like a disguise.
This is probably the first time all 4 of us have had hats on.
Yeah, there we go.
Well, I'm trying to change our look. This is the World Series championship hat, so I'm hoping this is change our luck a little bit today. Braves coming up here very shortly. 2:07 first pitch. Sean, how are you today, sir?
I'm doing fantastic. Good morning, guys.
Real quick, we'll get into some college football, and then we'll still got some baseball to talk about as we start heading towards that first pitch, and a lot more else here on the show. College football, I did write it down. I want to make sure we talked about it because it's being overshadowed. A, the kickoff is weird, and B, it's 2 unranked teams. But Miami's at Virginia Tech. They're giving up 7.5, and I know Virginia Tech's bad this year. But do you feel confident in your Hurricanes, Steven, giving up a touchdown and a hook on the road?
Oh, no. If I'm betting that game, I'm going Virginia Tech all the way. Miami has historically always struggled with Virginia Tech in general, and especially in there. Especially with how we've looked this season, I'm not believing anything.
Oh, wow. It's 8.5 now. It's jumped a point. Is Virginia Tech, I have not paid attention to it. Is Virginia Tech missing players? Is this why?
I have no idea.
Because usually when it's a full point like this, last night it was 7.5. So it has changed within less than 12 hours. Anyways, I thought you might know, but
no, nothing on the Hokies side.
It's 8 on Caesars, 8.5 on the other site that I was looking at. So technically 8 on Caesars. So I guess technically I was looking at ESPN last night. So I guess it's gone a half point. Either some news is broken or some big money's come in on the other direction. They're trying to get you to bet Virginia Tech.
Yeah.
It's one or the other. I don't really have an opinion in this game as far as who I think is going to win. I would think Miami's the better team because Virginia Tech's been pretty bad this year. But, yeah, I'm with you, man. At Virginia Tech, 8.5, 8 points, whatever you get it at, that is especially when the over-under is only 48, so they're not expecting to be a terribly high-scoring game, but yet they're going to cover by 9 points. That's cutting it close.
Yeah.
That means you're hoping or they're projecting what? 30 to 20-ish, give or take. That's a lot of points for Van Dyke.
So I'm seeing the total at 48, so at an 8-point spread, yeah.
Well, I tried to bring something that you'd be interested in, and you don't seem like you're interested in the Hurricanes, so let's move on. You're like, yeah, whatever, dude.
They're just so bad. It's just hard to even like.
I get it. And now we know why there's 3 people in the stands every Saturday. 2 of them have to be there. Like they're racing back and forth, holding up the damn nets behind the field goal post. When is Florida State Miami? Is that next week or is that the week after?
It's the weekend of the 5th or the 6th.
Oh, it's in November.
Yeah, it's the first week in November.
Okay, for some reason I thought we played y'all in late October again. It's really strange Florida State playing Clemson this week. They normally play at the same. I mean, it's almost like right after or during the Florida Georgia game every damn year. It's unbelievable. Luckily,
Florida State's got a shot.
Well, luckily, if we get murdered, everyone will be so focused on all the other stuff going on TV, no one's going to know. Like 3 weeks from now, did Florida State win that Clemson game? Yeah, sure we did. Duh, you ain't got to Google everything I say. We won. Stop it. Sean, Michigan pull it out today?
Penn State has not had a lot of success coming into the big house under Franklin. Having said that, I don't love the 7 points. If I was going to bet that, I would actually bet Penn State to cover the 7, and here's why. Penn State's defense is legit, especially their back end. And we haven't played a whole lot of folks yet. I still haven't seen J.J. McCarthy do it for 4 quarters in a big game. I need to see it. He's been a little sketchy, especially against Indiana early when they've just basically played drop zone and forced him to take what's underneath or run with his legs. He hasn't done that. So the only thing that gives me any real, I guess, chest puffed out kind of sensation is Sean Clifford, I swear to God, has been at Penn State since the Clinton administration. And that guy sucks. And he has always sucked. I don't know how they always have these 7 and 8 year quarterbacks like Matt McGloin and Christian Hackenberg, who I swear to God Christian Hackenberg, I swear to God, was getting toweled off by Sandusky. He was there for so long. I don't know how they pull this off all the time. I don't believe in Sean Clifford at all. Dude's awful. That would be the only reason I would lay the 7 as a Michigan fan, and I'm still not going to do it. I broke McGee. Oops.
Toweled off by Sandusky. Oh man, we take a wild turn there. All right, let's move on. Let's sidestep that. I just think it's going to be a slobber knocker. I said this earlier. I'm leaning with Michigan. 7 points is a lot. It's a lot in a game. Like, I'll tell you this though, I wouldn't feel as good. Most of these sites that you can buy a hook, you can get 7.5. I would still have to go 8.5. I would buy that 1.5, even though you're not getting much back. Because I feel like this game could come down to less than 10 points, but I could also see a scenario where you buy the hook feeling good about it and they lose 28-20. You're like, son of a, I think Michigan wins. I think it's a low scoring game, and because it's a low scoring game, I take Penn State in the points. That's basically two really good teams, by the way. And either team that loses today, they're not eliminated just as long as you don't get blown out, right?
Yep. Yeah, if you don't get blown out, Penn State still plays Ohio State in Happy Valley. Michigan still plays Ohio State in Columbus, and if that's our only loss, it's kind of like the whole Alabama-Georgia thing in the SEC. It's just like, if you've got one loss and it's one of the other 3, call them, because nobody from the West matters. It's basically the top 3 in the East. You're probably still in line to maybe get a look from the committee at the end of the day.
All right, well, we'll move on from that. The big game today, 3:30 Eastern, CBS, Tennessee, Bama. Bobby and I both believe that Tennessee's going to cover the spread. In fact, I took them for the stupid underdog and my lock. I really put the kiss of death on the Vols today. But I just feel like, I get it. Bryce Young looks like he's going to play, but how much has he practiced this week? And he's good. Don't get me wrong. He's good, but we're not talking about the second coming of Peyton Manning here, right? He's a good college quarterback, but so is Hooker.
Yeah.
And I just think it's going to be up and down, and it could come down to who has the ball last. And giving up, the last time I saw it was 9 points. Let me get the stream back out here. Is it still 9?
Yep.
So that's a lot of damn points to give up on the road. I don't care if you are Alabama. I paid out last week because I took Texas A&M in the points. I think Alabama gets so much money put on them, and for good reason. They've played incredible for the last decade, right? But there comes a point where it's like, when is it too many points? And I feel like 9's a lot. Now, once again, if I was betting this straight up with a 9, I might try to buy the hook, the 1.5, make it feel better. But this is what I did crazy, Sean. You'll like this because we'll get to your no way parlay here in a minute. But you're going to love this one. What's the plus on this? Does it tell me? Yeah, it does. Where is it at? I put a few bones last night on a money line of, here it is. What is this payout? Plus, well, it doesn't show it to me straight up. But anyways, Florida State on the money line and Tennessee on the money line. It was somewhere in the plus 800 to 900 range. If they just, the two of them just have to win. So you put like $20 down and you can win like 175, 200, somewhere in that neighborhood. I thought it would tell me, but it just shows me what at the time, the money lines were plus 170 Florida State and plus 260 Tennessee. So Tennessee might actually might even be higher at this point. They're still plus 255. If you did it right now, 255, and FSU, they kick off right, they're 160. And you take, if you do that, sorry, I was building something else. I have to delete that out real quick.
I've got it up on my book right now. $100 would win you $893.
Yeah, plus 823 is what the payout is. Crazier things have happened. You're taking two home teams against their rivals. And I think the bigger stretch is Florida State beating Clemson. I think Tennessee's got a much better chance of beating Alabama, just because of what I saw in the second half of that Florida State game last week.
Yep.
So I don't know. It's one of the shocks. If you put, and the good thing is one game kicks off at 3:30, the other one at 7:30. So one game should be over before the other one. If you win the first half, you can cash out, or you can just bet against yourself.
Mm-hmm. I should never be surprised when they do it. The only time I bet against Alabama this year was I bet Arkansas to cover. And they were looking great for about 46 minutes. Unfortunately, college football games are 60 minutes, and that last 14 really put it in my ribs. So I'm taking the Tennessee plus 9. I don't think I'm putting anything on this today just because I want to watch it as a fan. But I can't see laying 9 in Neyland. And man, the Neyland fans have been, I mean, it's back to the Fulmer days. It's back to the Peyton Manning days. At least it has been this season. They're going to be so loud. It's going to be wild.
Mm-hmm. It's gonna make that Philadelphia Phillies crowd look like a church.
and that crowd was, man, that was existential. That was existential release that you don't see that often in the playoffs. And it'll be above that, no doubt.
Yeah, I mean, we might be talking about Knoxville 3:30. Everyone probably showed up there Wednesday or Thursday evening, and they probably haven't been to bed.
No.
And the boos are flowing. I can see in the background behind what's old freaking, I call him Bozo because I can never remember his name because he looks like Bozo the Clown. Feinbaum.
No.
Right over his shoulder is the Volunteer Navy, and it is rocking.
Yep. Man, I know you mentioned it last week, but good gravy, what a slate today. Good grief.
Yeah.
Oklahoma State, TCU. That is not a small game. That is a huge game.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. Who do you like in that game? Because that's the thing. We wish we have enough time to get into these damn games.
I mean, I've been a big fan of Sonny Dykes for a while. I like Max Duggan. Oklahoma State is always just one of these trick or treat teams, man. Gundy they're always competitive. I mean, they've got the stadium, they've got the boosters, T-Boone Pickens, all that stuff. He just always seems to come up one win short. And not to, go back to my Hackenberg reference, but how long has Spencer Sanders been at Oklahoma State? I swear he took over for Brandon Whedon. I mean, I just don't believe in Oklahoma State winning big games because they always come up short. So I'm taking TCU. Plus they're in Fort Worth. They're at home. I mean,
-4.5.
Yeah, I'd take a -4.5.
I'll tell you what, TCU is always well coached. I know that one. I haven't watched a whole lot because Big 12 football. Get the hell out of here. But I mean, I'm honest, Angel, man. If it's west of the Mississippi, I don't watch a whole lot of it. I watch SEC, ACC, and Big Ten, and pretty much in that order. If we're not talking about my favorite teams, don't get me wrong. I'll watch a Michigan game before I'll watch like the Mississippi State Kentucky game tonight, right?
Yeah.
Just watch. Oh, it's SEC. Got to lock in. But if it's a big SEC game, when it comes to the Big 12, it's got to be an absolute huge game, and they got to put it at the right time. And 3:30 is not the time to put it if you're going to get me to watch it. Put aside the fact that I'm doing the Braves game today, right? Let's say they're going head to head and Braves aren't playing. I'm locked into damn Tennessee, Alabama at 3:30, man. And I think that they missed an opportunity to make that an early kickoff. I think the Big Ten missed an opportunity to make Michigan, Penn State the night game in Ann Arbor and do whatever the hell you want to with USC, Utah, because no one over in this neck of the woods is going to watch that anyway. So you can put it on wherever the hell you want to.
Yep.
And don't get me wrong, that might be a great game, but you can only watch so many games. And now let me ask you this. All these college football games on today, right? 100 of them, right? And yet they all squeeze them in somehow. But Major League Baseball has to have 1 p.m. start times on a Tuesday for the playoffs.
I was wondering when you'd get to this.
God, doggone, I'm tired of Manfred and his boobs just screwing everything up left and right. Just because they've always done it that way doesn't mean that's how you do it. You could have done 2 doubleheaders Tuesday night. Even if you got to stagger them, start them at 5, 6 o'clock in the evening and then stagger them through, right? But 1 p.m., I'm not as upset about it today because it's a Saturday, right?
Yep.
I get it. I still think you're screwing the pooch. You should have had the first game today at 3 o'clock with Mariners, Astros. You should have put Braves and Phillies on around 4:30, 5 o'clock, then stagger the Yankees in a couple of hours later, and then stagger the Dodgers in a couple hours later.
Yep.
That's a full day, because there are baseball fans out there that don't give a damn about college football.
There are. They're real.
You're asking someone to watch 2 p.m. Eastern to about 1 a.m. Eastern. That's when the last game will end tonight.
Ooh.
That's, man, come on. Get your head out of your ass. Anyone who is not named Steven Troche has at least 2 devices on, right? We love you, Steven. I'm just messing with you. But seriously, I bet you even Steven has a phone and a shuffle on.
I got a TV, just not a TV service.
Right. But if you decide that you want to watch 2 games,
oh yeah, of course. I do that all the time.
Yeah. So that's my point. Everyone's got them. Everyone mass streams. Nobody, no sports fans now. And I know I was the weird one back in the day, Sean, when we had the old house and the old cable. And we'd have like 19 TVs going through the house, and I had all these splitters going. But everyone nowadays has at least 2 devices that they're watching games on. Because our attention span is gone. We don't watch commercials, right? We're like, whatever,
Nope.
dude. Gotta go. That's why we try to keep our commercials to a minimum on this show, and the ones that come on, they're usually two minutes or less. Is usually what I try to keep it at. The intro is a little different because we're just warming up. But anyways, Kansas, Oklahoma. Kansas is going to pull the upset today.
I don't know if they pull the upset, but I took the points.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure why they're 10-point dogs.
So I have a suspicion. I know why, because I was looking at that line earlier. Is there an update on Daniels? Because the last I heard, he was out, and that's probably where the 10's coming from. If Daniels is out and they've got the backup in, because that backup couldn't. When he came in last week, they couldn't move the ball at all on TCU.
Yeah, I haven't got an update. I'm looking at it right now. But anyways, moving on from that. Cardinal rule, don't ask a question you don't know the answer to.
That's on me.
I think they started that game a little early. I think I would have put that a little later on in the day. Right? Kansas, Oklahoma, decent ball game. Why couldn't that be it's on ESPN2. Why couldn't ESPN2 rock that tonight? Or at least late afternoon. This obsession with starting games off at noon and thinking, oh, I'm going to get them locked in for. No. Very few people watch 14 hours of college football consecutively on a Saturday without stopping, right? Not going and doing something. I can't even do it with the NFL. The late games, unless it's a team I'm really heavily invested in, I usually take the first half off. I'll go do something. I might just go lay down, take an old fashioned, combat nap, but I can't just sit there and watch.
Lance Leipold in his presser yesterday said Daniels is doubtful. He has a grade 3 shoulder separation, but not done for the year. Jason Bean most likely to play for Kansas. That's where the 10's coming from, because they were anemic offensively once Bean came in, because he can't run at all.
Right. Still, I don't think Oklahoma is very good, and I would be very hesitant of taking the Sooners.
I'd be hesitant on taking the spread at all. I'd probably take the under just because I think Oklahoma stinks. But that's me.
And then here's the thing. Kansas has shocked Oklahoma in the past. This has been going back several years, so it hasn't been the same quarterback every damn time, unless they're doing some, 1984 SMU stuff around there. But yeah, that's other games on the docket real quick as we wind down. Of course, Braves start at 2:07, so we're looking forward to that. Real quick today, you know what? We'll do that at the very bottom of the hour. Braves predictions and baseball predictions today. Let's go ahead and get everyone's stupid underdog picks. Let's go ahead and get those in. So real quick to recap, I took the Vols, Joey took Nebraska, Tones took UNLV, and Doug went with James Madison. So we will go with, who's the low man? We'll go with Sean.
James Madison was one I looked at. Aren't they favored? Am I crazy?
No, they're underdogs to Georgia Southern, right?
No, they are 12.5-point favorites.
Yeah, they're 12.5 point favorites.
Get it the other way around, because I couldn't pull it up when Doug was mentioning it, because I had other things going on. And I was going off of what I thought he said. So he's got Georgia Southern then.
Okay.
So he was going against Georgia Southern, or against James Madison. I just wrote it down wrong. All right.
I'm down by 1 million, so I'm going to start taking Hail Marys. And here's Hail Mary season. I'm going to take the Fighting Matt Campbells of Iowa State to go into Austin and upset the Longhorns. I know how great Quinn Ewers looked last week. Campbell is good for one of these every year, where he beats somebody he has no business beating. Usually they're in Ames, not on the road. But I'm not as big a believer in Sark as some people are, and that's 15.5. And I'm probably 70 points behind. So, why not? Iowa State plus 15.5. Let's go.
Iowa State plus 15.5. All right. Who is Iowa State playing? Texas?
at Texas in Austin.
All right, so I'll go ahead and get that jotted down. Sean, Iowa State plus 15.5. Trosh, where are you going?
So, are we allowed to do double up on picks?
I did.
All right,
you mean if someone else picked it?
Yeah,
you can. This is such a big cluster of guys that come in staggered times. I'm not going to take it away from you.
All right. I mean, I'm going the Hail Mary route just like Sean is. I had this game locked in the minute I saw it. Nebraska going into Purdue. Purdue hasn't beaten anybody by, well, they've only beaten one team by more than 10 points. And it was, I think, like Jacksonville State or something like that. I mean, they just have not looked like a super good team this year. Nebraska has quietly looked better since Scott Frost has been gone. I think they go in, cover the spread, and I think they have a good potential to pull the upset.
Bobby, where are you going?
I hate to double up on picks as well, but as soon as I saw this, I had to pick them as my stupid underdog. I got Tennessee plus 9. I think at worst, I think I get the 2 points for them covering the spread, but I think they have a very good shot of winning this game at home.
Okay, Volunteers plus 9. All right. And let's go ahead and get those locks of the day. Start off with who's low man over here. Well, I guess it's a tie, so it doesn't realistically matter. Trosh, what's your lock of the day?
I usually don't stick with college, but I'm just still floored at that line. I'm going to have to stick with Nebraska plus 14.
Man, we are really putting the kiss of death on these teams today because I doubled that and doubling. If you're out there betting,
I'll take that back then, just so we're not kiss the death in teams. I'm going to go Seahawks plus 2. I mean, like Geno
I already wrote down the Nebraska. It's too late. I'm not changing it. All right, Sean, what you got?
So my lock, I am going to go to the NFL, and this will come up again in the no way parlay. The Giants are getting 5.5 points at home against Baltimore. I love the New York Giants in this spot. I think the way they line up against the Ravens is exactly the kind of team that gives the Ravens trouble. They're going to run the ball very well against a really bad Ravens defense and keep Lamar off the field. And I keep shaking my head at that number. I mean, I guess I get it on some level, but I think the Giants are equal to or better than the Ravens.
Okay. I took that. I didn't take it on our show, but I did take that spread. I just think it's going to be a slobber knocker. And the Ravens, their defense has been suspect, and to win a game on the road, the only thing that concerns me is that the Giants are coming from London, and I think that's why that spread's as high as it is.
Makes sense.
You know, they didn't get the damn week off. I'm really surprised that they didn't do that this year. You used to, every time you went to London, you got a bye week. And I don't know if they left it up to the teams, say, hey, you would have a bye week at 12, or you can have it right after London. And maybe the teams are like, no, dude, I don't want one at 12 to hell. I mean, at, week 6, come on.
Yep.
Because Titans and Raiders both are off this week. And I'm like, dude, so that just means you have to go 9 months now without a bye. Like, what are we doing here? Bobby, what is your lock?
Well, I was looking at the Giants plus 5.5, but I'm not doubling down twice. So I'm going to go with the Vikings minus 3. I believe Skylar Thompson is playing for the Dolphins, if I'm not mistaken. But I don't think the Vikings have a realistic shot of losing to him. I think Jefferson and Kirk Cousins are going to have a nice game. I think they'll get the job done and win by more than 3.
Trish, you said you were changing it to what? Seattle minus 2? Is that what you said?
Seattle plus 2.
Plus 2. Okay.
I like that.
I'm streaming some damn Geno
Smith. Seattle's 2.5
against
point
my team, Bobby.
Right,
I'll pick against yours.
Fair. Seattle, they're plus 2.5 point underdog. So get an extra half point.
Okay.
Wide open offense. All right, let's go ahead and take a quick 60-second break. We will be right back.
This portion of the show is being brought to you by Ed's Almost Good Beer. Remember, Ed's Almost Good Beer was brewed in God's country when God wasn't looking.
Hey, football fans, the Armchair Quarterback Show is back Saturday mornings, 9 a.m. to noon Eastern. A 3-hour wake-up show that'll cover it all. College football, the NFL, fantasy football, and Major League Baseball. It's the Armchair Quarterback Show, 9 a.m. Eastern to noon Eastern, Saturday mornings, right here on the Armchair Quarterbacks 1 YouTube channel. Really quick, round the horn really quick. I don't need the breakdowns. Who wins today in baseball? 4 games. Who are your 4 winners? Sean.
I'll go first. Guardians, Padres, Mariners, Braves. 2 end, 2 keep going.
Steven.
Braves, Astros, Guardians, Dodgers.
Bobby.
I'll go Braves, Astros, Guardians, Padres.
I got Braves and Padres. I feel like the Guardians are going to pull it off tonight. I like Tristan McKenzie at home, and I would think Seattle's going to get one. That stadium's going to be rocking. That's going to be very Philadelphia-like. So there you have that. So we get ready for Braves' first pitch. Now let's go ahead and switch over to fantasy football. And I got to pull up the fantasy football. Where's it at? Here we go. And this is going to be a really quick segment because we're coming up on time. I've got some production I have to get ready for the Braves broadcast. I didn't think about it when they first announced 2 p.m. I was like, oh, cool. That's 2 hours. I go, wait a minute. That's not nearly enough time. What the hell am I doing? All right. Really quick. Steven, you won last week, right?
Yep.
You barely beat me out. I actually got in second place for once. How about that?
There you go.
Oh, what's your lineup this week? Real quick.
I'm going back to the well one more time. Why not? Geno Smith, DK Metcalf as my stack. Brought it back with Eno Benjamin in that game at 4,600. My other running back is other running backs are Devin Singletary at 5,900. I think he's a good pivot in that Kansas City Buffalo game. And then Darrell Henderson at 5,100. Cam Akers is off the team, most likely going to be cut. Other 2 receivers, I have a mini stack of Jamar Chase and Chris Olave. David Njoku at tight end at 4,000.
Cam Akers is getting cut?
He's out this week. There's a lot of personal issues with the team like itself. All the signs are not looking good in Los Angeles right now for Akers.
Gotcha. I haven't paid attention to it because I've given up on him as far as fantasy goes, but I didn't realize that he was about to be cut. That is so strange.
Oh, I completely agree. I mean, it's to the point where, like if you're in a deeper league, go see if Kyron Williams is on the on waivers, because he may get a shot this the next week or 2. And then lastly, I have the Rams defense at 4,100.
All right, let's go ahead and do the team build. Who is first this week? Anyone pay attention to that?
Me.
Right.
The order this week should be me, then Trosh, then Bobby, then you, because you led off last week.
Okay.
All right. So I'm going to. Oh no, got Putin news on the screen. I'm going to go a little bit off the board, and I'm going to take one Mr. Jalen Hurts as our quarterback at 7,900, and I am going to stack him with one Mr. AJ Brown at
Sean,
70.
Do us a favor, mute yourself and come back because you're really staticky. Hopefully that'll fix it.
Just to recap, he went Jalen Hurts at 7,900 and AJ Brown at 7,300.
Okay. 7,300. Here we go.
Sorry about that.
It happens all the time, man. If someone doesn't tell you, there's no way you'll know. Who's next?
Trosh.
Yep, I am up. I'm actually going to grab a piece of the Dallas side there. Michael Gallup at 4,800. That is a screaming value. I expect Darius Slay to be locking up CeeDee Lamb, which is going to open up opportunities for Gallup, and he is bound for a big week.
Okay, Gallup 4,800.
Bobby.
Maybe mentioning him in a future segment, but I got Jacoby Myers here. He's only 5,300, and he's averaging 18.6 a game. When he's healthy, he's playing this week. So I think he's good value.
You say 5,300?
Yes.
Is he playing? I see a big Q.
I believe so, but it may be something to keep up with.
By the way, as a Arizona fan, are you not ready for D-Hop to be back?
I am, but I don't think it's going to affect us a whole lot. I still don't think this team is going to be too competitive. I don't see us making the playoffs. So there's not a lot to be excited about, frankly.
All right, so let me look at this real quick and see where we're at. We're at Jalen Hurts, AJ Brown, Gallup, and Myers. Okay, so we have really bit into. All right, let me see what we got here.
Oh, we still got plenty of money.
No, I know, but you have to average 49 per. One of the reasons is because we haven't done our defense yet. All right, so let me go down here. I'm trying to go off of memory of what I did for. You know what? Give me Jeff Wilson Jr. against one of the worst defenses in the league. Going to Atlanta, kind of figured that he's been averaging about 15 touches a game, and he should do pretty well. Who's next? Sean?
Yep.
It comes back to me. I'll go ahead and grab the defense and give you guys a little bit more room to have some fun. I'm going to take the Vikings at 3,400. Again, playing against Spencer Stevenson, Williams, whatever the hell his name is. I can't even remember. So that's a spot where, sacks, safeties, dumb turnovers, maybe not point avoidance as much as just a lot of potential for defensive touchdowns. So
Sean always says, I'm going to give you meat on the bone with the defense, and then grabs the top 10 defense in
it's not a top 5 defense.
I'm going to give y'all some wiggle room. Let me grab Christian McCaffrey.
Fair enough.
All right. Who's next? I don't know.
That's me.
Okay, sorry.
Now, speaking of wiggle room, I'll really save us some money here. We have 9,700 left, so I'm going to go Justin Jefferson at 8,900. Gives us like $400. No, I'm just kidding. I'm going to go Kenneth Walker at 5,400. Rashad Penny's out for. I'm pretty sure he's out for the year, right?
Yeah, he broke his leg. Yeah. He's out for the year.
Yep. So, Kenneth Walker should be coming in and assuming that the workhorse back. From everything I've seen, they're home favorites for. They're home, and it's basically like a pick 'em right now. I love the upside there.
Love that pick.
Okay, so now it is your turn, Mr. Schneider.
All right, I'll grab our tight end here, who's on the cheaper side. I'll go with Will Dissly, another Seahawk.
My pick.
Love me some
3,100. 3,100. I like your value there going up against the defense. I can't stop tight ends too well, so I think he'll put up some decent points.
Yeah, he's been a very popular play this week.
Mm-hmm. So all we got left is a flex to you, McGee, and there's a real obvious one with that money that's left sitting right there.
Obvious, don't do it.
Flex.
Don't do it, McGee.
I gotta go Gabe Davis.
Yep, that's the one.
I have a feeling like 3 catches for 27 yards incoming.
He isn't going to do what he did in the playoff game, but there's no way he's getting that.
I
think everybody's going to eat that game.
Shootout.
Yeah, I think every fantasy player in that game is going to eat. They're going to put up points.
Yeah, I feel like he'll get into the end zone at least one time. I'm not expecting to have the 170-yard output he had a couple weeks ago, but at that price, if he gets a touchdown and gets anywhere close to the century mark, it'll definitely be worth the value.
If you want to go with the cheaper option in that game on that team, you can go with Isaiah McKenzie. I think he'll have a solid game too.
No.
No love for Isaiah.
No, and it's not anything against him personally, but I want this game is going to be a big game, and he's going to tend to look for the guys he trusts, and he trusts Gabe Davis, and he trusts Diggs, obviously, but you got to pay through the nose for Diggs.
Yeah.
I mean, the one thing to keep in mind is if you're playing a tournament for DFS, every single person is going to be on Gabe Davis, and he's going to have to go have one of those 170-yard or 4 touchdown games to really make it worth it to play him.
Yeah, but you can say the same thing about Ken Walker because a lot of people are going to jump on him because anytime a guy's injured, they're all.
Everyone's going to Eno Benjamin in that game. I think Kenneth Walker is going to be under-owned, if anything.
Well, he's going against a little better run defense would be the reasoning why, but yeah, Disley's going to be another one that's going to be highly added because if I've seen one, I've seen 30 damn shows this week about Disley. But it's a crapshoot. So we'll go ahead and put that in, and away we go. And we're winding down here. A little shorter show today because got to get ready for Braves Philly 207 because that's a normal time. I'm like, you know what is playing at 2:00 today? California, Colorado, like that's what you expect. Connecticut, Ball State. That's what you put at 2:00 Eastern. Major League Baseball, you dips. For those of y'all who don't have a dog in the hunt, just be happy. just drives you insane. If you really want to avoid that Braves game at 2:00, you got the Western Carolina. They're playing Furman.
Oh my God.
Well, that's such a big game. It's not even on my board here. So they've taken that off the boards. I'm sure there's too many people betting it.
Yeah.
It's bad enough I'm going to MTSU Western, and that's going to be over in the first quarter. I don't need to watch those.
If someone put $25 on the Western Carolina game, they're pulling it off the board because the fix is in, man. Something's going on. Real quick rundown. Let me see what we got here. And give me, you know what? We haven't talked any real NFL. We only got a few minutes. Give me one out NFL game that's not Buffalo, Kansas City, because we know everyone's locking into that. Everybody is. One game that you're watching tomorrow, Steven, that doesn't involve Buffalo, Kansas City, or your Dolphins.
1:00 game. Saints and Bengals. They're going to be in New Orleans, so it's a dome game. The Bengals are just they've been so flat the last couple of weeks. They're ready to break out. I think we're going to see
watching that game because Brian's going to have the clicker.
No, I ain't even going to be with him. I'm watching that on my own. I'm watching that for all the fans.
Now you aren't. He just heard that. He is going to be camped out on your damn lawn. All right. Well, that's not one I expected. Bobby, one game that's not your team and not Buffalo.
I'm going to go Ravens-Giants. I think that should be a competitive game between two good teams right now.
I like that one a lot.
It's so weird to think of Giants and good team in the same sentence.
I know. It's weird. Dabble's done wonders.
Sean, what about you? One game that you're locked in on that's not your team. It's not Buffalo KC.
Got a doozy. This is a team I've cashed on 3 times this year, and I'm all aboard the hype train. Jets in Lambeau, getting 7.5 against the Packers. I am very, 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 very suspect of the Green Bay Packers. And if you watch the Jets games, I know a lot of factors last week. Bridgewater got knocked out early, yada, yada. They've been competitive in every game. They haven't been blown out. So, and that's a spot I'm going to have a lot of attention on. Lions off, Titans off. It's a gambling football watching week for me.
I usually wait to see how my Saturday plays out to see what I have to play with on Sunday. Man, I'm really tempted to grab that line. 45.5 is the over. I feel like that's going to be a shootout.
Very well could
One
be.
way or the other. Even if the Packers go all Packers about it and blow the Jets out of the water, 45 points is a low score in Lambeau. 50 degrees, not much precipitation expected. Maybe I'm getting an inaccurate forecast over here, but man, seems low. One game that I'll pick one that y'all haven't said yet. I'll tell you what, I'm gonna go with what I said. Cowboys Eagles Sunday Night Football. I'm really interested in this game. I wish Dak was back so we got a better idea, but I think you're going to get a slobber knocker. I think you're going to get a low scoring game. These two teams tend to play hard hitting, low scoring games. Over under is only 42 for a reason. And to be honest with you, the Cowboys won't win, but I think they'll cover the spread 6.5. Philly, Dallas. Man, that's a big spread in a divisional game. Against
one thing to note real quick, Falcons are 5-0 against the spread. So
Falcons.
Yes, they are.
And what are the Falcons doing this week, Sean?
Falcons are hosting, as I recall, the 49ers. Best defense in football, but
West Coast, East Coast, baby.
West Coast, East
Take
Coast.
the Falcons in the 4.5. Let's go.
Listen, hey, good process, bad results. I was wrong about Arizona losing in Carolina a few weeks ago because, as it turns out, Carolina is just starting a series of cadavers at quarterback and cannot move the ball whatsoever. But that's good process, bad result, because you and I have been watching football for 4 decades. West Coast, East Coast matters. It bites people multiple times a year.
That game smells like a game where everyone's like, oh, man, the 49ers defense is going to shut them down, where the Falcons put 30 on the board. The over-under is only 45.
So what you're saying is
smells like – go ahead.
So what you're saying is avoid the 49ers in your survivor pool.
I would never take – in my survivor pool, I would never take a West Coast team going east. I just wouldn't if I could avoid it. If I was going to go survivor pool, I would actually probably feel good about the Colts. I think the Colts will probably beat the Jags. They're in Indy. I know they got blown out in Jacksonville earlier in the year, but you kind of have to sweep that under the rug. Real quick, as we walk them off, Bobby, what's your walk-off and who wins Bills Chiefs?
My walk-off is we have a great slate of sports today between the awesome college football matchups, playoff baseball, and the start of hockey, including my Predators playing tonight at 7 Central. So enjoy all of it. It should be a great day of sports. Have fun. You know I had to
sleep there. Talk about hockey in the middle of this college football showdown and quadruple header of playoffs.
You know I had to mention it.
So as I install hockey, I must turn it to Sean. Sean, who wins Bills Chiefs and what's your walk-off?
Red Wings are 1-0. There you go. I did it for Bobby.
I was really worried about that. Weren't you, Steven?
Yeah, a little bit.
I'm going to take the Bills to win that game in Kansas City. And really quick, the no-way parlay for the week. Jets.
Oh, sorry.
It's fine. Jets, Giants, Cowboys. I will have it noted for the record. The no-way parlay has come close to hitting each of the last 3 weeks. 2 of the 3 games have hit each of the last 3 weeks. Jets, Giants, Cowboys, you put those 3 together, your odds are very high. But if you put a nice little $10 on that, that can win you $330 if all 3 of those hit. So
here's the good
last
thing.
week, the no-way parlay was as close as it's ever come to hitting. Seattle had it in the bag. I was about to count the dollar bills, and then they gave it up to the Saints at the end. But
the other good thing, when you do a no-way parlay, it's always good for the third game to be much later than the first 2.
Mm-hmm.
So you can go back and reverse your bet and bet against yourself or cash out, whichever one's better for you.
Yep.
Steven, I always like to bet against myself because that way, if it does hit, I go, what? All right, Steven, what you got?
You're playing DFS tomorrow and you're looking for a cheap running back. Look, like I mentioned before, go to Kenneth Walker and don't go to Eno Benjamin.
My walk-off for the day is go Braves. Keep this season alive. Nobody wants to see Philadelphia in anything, much less the Major League Baseball playoffs. I have to watch that stupid Philly fanatic. I wish Blooper would just come out of nowhere and kick his ass. And I say this with almost a smirk. Go Noles, but I think they're going to be feisty tonight. But we're going to find out if this Florida State team really has improved or if it's more of a they were playing well, but now that it's all crashing down. And if that is the case, then we'll have the Turd Bowl in November, Steven's telling me. We'll go, no, you suck more. No, you suck more. No, we all suck more. All right. Great job, guys. Good luck to your teams. Virginia Tech, Miami in about 40 minutes. And Michigan in 10 minutes. Gators play. What is it, 7 or 7:30 tonight? Do you know?
7, I think.
Not quite sure.
7, I think. 7 Eastern.
Okay. And that's SEC Network. Is that right? I should know this. I shouldn't be asking, but I do apologize. I think it is. Problem is I'm on top 25 and that game's not on it. But anyways, full slate of college football. Y'all enjoy. And then Braves, Phillies will have first pitch here at 2:07. Y'all have a great day, guys.
You too.
See you, dudes.
See ya.
We're back tomorrow with another show. Well, unless we're fired, we'll talk to you then. Goodbye, sweetheart. Goodbye. Goodbye.
Guys and gals, it's time to go. We'll see you on the next show.
Same bat time, same bat channel.
Thanks for listening to the Armchair Quarterbacks on these CBS Sports affiliates and catching the show on YouTube Live. The Armchair Quarterbacks bring you Braves Country Baseball every Tuesday and Friday night, play-by-play with Mac McGee. Find Armchair Quarterbacks on YouTube Live today. Please subscribe and share and take us everywhere you go. The Armchair Quarterbacks, your first choice for Southern sports talk, live from the First Coast.
Gonna get another cigarette.